I'm your host, CL21, and this is a series on my channel where I interview people on VidLii about stuff. Seventh guest is CL21.
Feeling really good. Thank you for having me on this. This is actually really exciting.
It's really weird talking to you because, like, you're the most famous VidLii user ever. Like, well, I mean, besides NFTRZ, but, like...
Yeah, besides no fuckers, I'm like... kind of up there. Yeah, no, it's really cool, you know. I guess I'm surprised, that... I'll check on VidLii on occasion, and I'm just surprised that I'm still getting subscribers. I'm like, who still cares about the fucking channel? Like, it's like sat vacant for so long, but I'd always check on it, and it would just kept getting more views and getting more subscribers, and it just kind of built up this weird, like, I guess, legend on the site that I kind of, like, recognized, but, you know, and so that's kind of what's made it pretty cool to come back. It's just, like, it's not some, like, mythological, like, legend channel or anything. I'm just a dude that has not made videos in a minute, and I guess is trying to again.
I don't know, the thing is, like, for me personally, and I know a lot of other people, it's like basically like an obligation when you start a new VidLii channel to subscribe to CL21 and subscribe to the official VidLii channel and then NFTRZ. It's like a ritual basically to subscribe to those free channels as soon as you start your new channel on VidLii for everyone.
That's actually pretty funny, like to think
it's like
about,
an obligation.
Yeah, it's like an obligation, like, type of thing, because, yeah, I remember when I was, like, really, really active making videos, it was never me. I was not, like, an obligatory channel to follow, even though I was doing a lot of the, like, community news and like, rants and stuff. It was mainly Aaron. It was mainly AM's channel that was, like, he was pumping out so many high-quality videos at that time, and, like, super rapidly, too, so he was, like, the channel that you had to subscribe to first, but he's not been active in a minute, and I wish he was, because his videos are really good.
AM, the only thing I know about him is that I remember a long time ago, Star Blitz, on his old channel in 2023, he would have the channel banner of AM talking good about him and saying how Star is like an amazing creator or something. He had it as his channel banner back then, so that's the only thing I know about him, is that I know he liked Star. Well, his old channel is YTP Maker.
Oh, him. See, that's how out of the loop I am. I'm like, you were telling me about this dude, and I'm just like, yeah, the name sounds familiar, but I can't quite, like, get to it, and then you said that, and it's like, oh, I know him. I know him.
How do you know YTP Maker if you not quit, but like stopped using VidLii before he joined?
Well, he was very active, like, kind of on VidBit a little bit, and then, like, you know, I just see him kind of pop around the community. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of see him pop up around the community on occasion.
Wait. YTP Maker, he was 4 years old in 2015. He was born in 2011.
Wait,
so,
really?
like, how is that even possible? I don't know, you're thinking of a different person, I think.
I might have it a bit mixed up. It has been quite a bit since the old VidLii history, so pardon me for not exactly remembering it, but I know I've seen that name around.
The YTP Maker I know, he joined VidLii in August 2022, and then, like, became very popular, and then in, like, May 2023, when I joined VidLii on my old account, I became friends with him.
I think I've probably seen, probably just seen some of his comments in my inbox or something, but I at least recognize the name. That's the main point, but, you know.
Okay. I don't know. His old profile pic before he, like, changed to all his new accounts, his OG profile pic was, like, some red blob. If you remember that, then you're thinking of the right person. If you don't remember that, it's probably a different person.
I'm thinking of the right person now.
Yeah.
But anyway, to the main overall point of it, you know, it's exciting to come onto this pod, because usually I'm the one hosting the pod, and it's weird, like, that this is a real, like, VidLii's upload link is long enough now to actually make a true podcast, because back then I think the upload limit was only like 15 or 20 minutes, so we'd do these, like, multi-part episodes of just, like, one recording session, and so it was a lot to kind of keep up with and upload. But it's fun being on someone else's podcast and not having to worry about the editing of it.
Yeah, I think you had a podcast from what I could see on your channel, because I can only see one interview with you with Lolwat and Kuz, but, like, I don't see any other interviews you do.
Yeah, so I actually, like, the thing was, I never had a podcast on my channel. It was all the other channels, so... like, the big one that I had before, like this one I'm doing right now, the big one was the Fun Times podcast. Not a lot of people remember the Fun Times channel, but it was a collaboration between me, Aaron, I think I think Sudarion and Formidable were part of that. I forget, like, off the top of my head, but I know they were kind of in some stuff. But it was mainly me and Aaron, and I think, gosh, I forget his actual channel name, but just kind of us running the Fun Times channel. And that was our big thing there, was the Fun Times podcast. And then on my other side channel, Teehee Hub, we also had a very short-lived podcast there, too.
Was Fun Times on VidLii or YouTube or something?
It was on VidLii. I think it was actually exclusively on VidLii. So, like, whenever I did these group collaboration channels, and it does fit into a lot of my videos right now too, but when I did these big collaboration channels, they were purely geared towards VidLii. Like, I would upload them to YouTube. Like, I'd make a YouTube channel for them. Like, Teehee Hub in particular. I don't know about Fun Times, but Teehee Hub had a YouTube channel. And, so, you know, but, like, I'd upload them there, but the actual main platform and main audience that I was recording them for was people on VidLii, because all of the people I was collaborating with were also big, like, alt community people. Yeah. So it was just like a special, like, thing specifically for that site that was really cool to do.
By the way, to the point earlier, I'm super grateful for BF3K increasing the video limit to 1 hour for partners. Yeah. Instead of the 35 minutes before, like,
Yeah, and even 35 minutes was way above what I was used to on VidLii. You know, like I said, there was a time, once upon a time, when I was more active, when the upload limit was, I think, 20 minutes for partnered channels and 10 minutes for non-partnered channels. So you had to make a lot more of your time.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, with, like, the podcasts you had back then, what I do now with my podcast episodes that are, like, longer than 1 hour or whatever, what I do nowadays is that, of course, I edit down the stutters and the pauses, but still keeping the dialogue. Of course I do that, but I upload in parts of VidLii, but then I upload the full not unedited, but, like, full version without any cuts or parts to, like, archive.org or, like, BitChute or something like that, and just, like, link it to the VidLii upload, just in case you want to watch it without having to switch between videos. Like, if you just want to watch the whole thing straight, you could go to, like, BitChute or archive.org and watch the full version there without having to change parts.
Definitely. I think that's a good idea to have, like, a special sort of channel for the uncut pods like that. Because, like, for me, like, I do love, like, my sweet spot for a podcast I find these days is, like, an hour, probably. Like, because I have been a fan before of podcasts that started getting into, like, 3 hours of length, and it's like, eventually it's just like, I just like to listen to a podcast all the way through, and then, like, watch other stuff, because I just work a lot more these days, so I just want to watch more content besides the one podcast, so, like, an hour's, like, a good sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the long stuff, you could probably just, like, basically just, like, take breaks during it. Like, sometimes when I watch 3 hour long videos, I like watch 1 hour one day, and then 1 hour another day, and 1 hour another day, and I, like, watch the same video for, like, a few days straight if it's, like, super long like that.
Yeah. I've definitely been there before. Yeah, I've definitely, like, done that on plenty of content before.
I imagine listening to podcasts while, like, driving your truck is, like, a nice experience. Like,
very nice.
Podcasts are, like, more productive. They're more productive than, like, music, because, like, you can learn stuff, like, education from them. Like, if you're watching, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson or some shit talk about science on, like, Joe Rogan's podcast, you could, like, learn about, like, space and all that while driving.
Yeah, like I definitely
can actually get education from watching podcasts.
Yeah, like, I'll say this much. I think I should get into more just, like, purely educational podcasts. Because, like, my big thing that I love, because for me, I do listen to a lot of music in the truck. Because, like, of course, I'm in the process of recording an album right now. And, you know, I've been playing music for so long. So, like, music, just listening to music in the car for me is sort of, like, its own weird way educational, because I can sort of, like, learn from other songs and kind of gain inspiration, and then I also practice singing a lot and actually try to like expand my vocal range in the truck. But podcasts are really nice, and the main one that I've been into right now is Smosh Mouth. I don't know if you've, like, seen a lot of Smosh's recent content, but they're just like so good now. They're really, really good. Just purely like into like they're really into like professional comedy troupe type of territory now. So it's like I love listening to like Smosh Reddit stories or Smosh Mouth because it's like I just pick up it's influenced my comedy a lot. I like to be, funnier on the day to day, and Smosh definitely is a good source of just good comedy. Like just straight up good comedy.
I haven't watched Smosh since like 2023 when like Anthony Padilla. Unless you're thinking about a different thing, the Smosh I'm thinking of, like Anthony Padilla went back to Smosh in 2023 and like had the money to like buy it from like the big company that used to own it. But like I haven't heard about them really since then when they bought it again.
Yeah, like I would recommend
Smosh,
watching.
I am happy they bought themselves back.
Yeah. Like, I would recommend watching Smosh Pit, because, like, I guess to give a brief overview and not make this whole podcast about how much I love Smosh, is that, so, obviously Anthony left, so Defy Media bought it in 2011, that was the big company that had bought it, and so Anthony had left in 2017 because of how many changes that big company is making, and then the big company went bankrupt and basically, like, fired everyone abruptly, like, and so Smosh was, like, up in the air for a little bit. And so by that point, the big thing was they had this, like, they had a separate, like, they had Ian and Anthony doing the sketches, but they had a separate crew for games, and then a group of like 5 for the Smosh Pit channel. And so basically Mythical bought Smosh, like Rhett and Link's Mythical, they bought Smosh, to just, kind of let Ian rebuild and, like, find what he wanted to do with it, and they just, eventually, like, the games cast left to do their own thing, so it was kind of like the main Smosh Pit cast, and that just became kind of like a main cast, and then they just sort of added to that cast over the years, and then, obviously, in 2023, Anthony bought it back, and they're just in a really good era right now. Like, they have just full creative control of what they want to do. Yeah. Like, they have just a full cast, and the thing is, like, they have a full cast of, like, 10 or 12 people, something like that, but it is, like, just such a solid cast. There's no, in my opinion, no weak spots in it. It's just a really fun show. I really recommend you check it out.
Oh, yeah. By the way, the stuff with, like, what happened to Smosh is one of the reasons why I don't think I would ever sell anything I made, or, like, any channels I made, or anything like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely not.
All these stories about, like, how... Like, I hear all these stories about, like, how people sell their YouTube channels, or, like, how people sell the rights to their movie, or video game, or music, or something, and then they, like, lost everything, and then the company that ran it became bad, and, like, they didn't give them money on time, and it's, like, all this shit show because they sold it to a big company that doesn't care about them. So, like, I would rather just avoid that completely, even if it means I make less money.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's kind of, because I'm in a couple bands right now that we're just, like, trying to do stuff, and so that's kind of all of our opinion on it, is just, like, with shit like DistroKid around, and even, like, some other, like, just smaller indie labels and stuff like that, it just, like, just so much more of a pull these days to find your own audience and have that audience support you, record label be damned. Like, you make these days really like a lot more money just like with, say, 100K monthly listeners, but releasing it, self-releasing it and releasing it independently versus like probably 1 million monthly listeners on a big label, because they take so much of the money, so it's like, yeah, independent stuff is fucking, like, great.
I might be wrong, but, like, for music, I always heard that concert tickets and merch sales make most streams, make barely any. Like
oh yeah, no, definitely.
You merch and, like, concert tickets are, like, way better money-wise.
Oh yeah,
and that's where all the money is in music.
Yeah, tickets are way better, but, like, even then, the differences on being a big label versus independent is just like, it, like, so many of these artists right now are barely breaking even on tours, because you go on tour and, like, yes, the merch sales are huge and the ticket sales are huge, but Ticketmaster probably takes like a good 30% of the ticket sales. The arena probably takes another 30% of those ticket sales, and then the record label wants part of the merch sales. Like, some of these people in their contracts gave up merch rights to their label. And so it's like, they don't make shit off of those, like, giant arena concerts, but like if say any of one of my bands were big enough to where we were able to like post on Instagram that we booked a club and have 1,000 people show up to that club show, like split 20-30% with the club, but the rest goes to us plus merch sales, we'd probably make as much as those giant arena shows are, just off of not having to deal with so many people wanting to take your money.
I'm not in the music industry at all. I'm not in that space, but I just had a genius idea in my head to like fix all the problems. What if instead of individual tickets, musicians just set up Patreons and like you could just sub to it for like for some money every month, and then like you're basically guaranteed to go to every concert for free if you just subscribe to it, and you just go up to the concert and just show on your phone that you have a Patreon account that's paying for them, and they'll just let you in like the bouncer. Like, I don't know, I feel like that would be a way better system, just having Patreon subscriptions, but basically getting free concerts just for paying a monthly fee.
Yeah, I mean, that is a cool idea, and it's funny because there are quite a few bands that actually do, have Patreons. For a while, if you've ever heard of The Fall of Troy, The Fall of Troy had a Patreon going for a little bit, or at the very least a GoFundMe to, like, help some further projects. But, like, part of the, like, thing of why that is just hard to pull off is, like, if you do it at, like, club shows and stuff, like, that's probably, that's a way that you could do it. But once you get kind of any bigger than, like, a local level or, like, a club level, there just starts to be, like, the venue wants ticket sales. Like, they have, like, contracts start to get involved with it once you get past a certain level. So it's just harder to pull something like that off. But it is a really cool idea. And I think Avenged Sevenfold tried to play around with something like that a couple years ago.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, there's, like, if people are dedicated enough to go to concerts, that probably means they would like to go to every single concert. So having a monthly fee for them on, like, Patreon or something would make sense for those really dedicated fans that would go to every concert anyway. And it would be better for everyone involved, since the artists get guaranteed income every month, and the people and the fans don't have to spend money for every concert. It's just like a $10 fee every single month, which is like less hard on them financially. Yeah. So it's just like, it's better for everyone, I think. Besides Ticketmaster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's the thing. Ticketmaster will fucking get mad and find any way to just screw everyone over. They've been doing that for like 30 years. Yeah. But, I think I've seen a couple bands play around with just like that kind of thing where it's like these exclusive like VIP packages that you like have to go through some hoops to buy, but no one else can, not a fucking like ticket, no one can swipe it with like a fucking ticket bot that just buys like 10,000 at a time and puts them on resellers, so there's certainly ways that ticket sales can be better, but May we wait for a day that Ticketmaster just fucking up and dies before that happens.
I don't know. Personally, I don't think, like, I don't really listen to music that much to want to go to the concert. It's just like, a concert is just full of people, and it's like crowded and loud. It's just like too much for me. And like the cost too, and like the cost of money to like go to like big cities around the world to go to them. I just think it's too much for, but the thing is, like, I'm not, like, so into music to the point where I like a specific singer or a specific band enough where I'd want to spend my entire life savings just to go to their shows. Like, I'm not into, like, one specific artist like that.
Yeah, never do that for, like, just never do that anyway, because I can think of a ton of artists that I am, like, well into enough to, like, want to, like, pay more than I'd usually pay for like a concert ticket, but never even like once they start flirting around with like the $200 range, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting these fucking the one show that I did make an exception on. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's not just that. It's like also the airplane tickets and like the travel. It's just like it's a lot more than that if you count traveling to those big cities. Unless you live in the city they're doing it in. Like, let's say you lived in like I don't know, like Germany or something, and like your favorite band wanted to do a show in like Tokyo. That's that's like a 20-hour flight and costs like $1,000 just for the plane ticket itself, and like the cost of going to Japan too and eating and finding hotels. All of that adds up too, so it's way more than the ticket price.
Yeah, I'm definitely not down for like I'm not down for traveling to see an artist. Like, I would see an artist in another city if I was already, like, traveling to that city anyway, and it just so happened that, like, their concert was happening around that time. Like, I would do something like that, but I wouldn't travel purely just to see a show.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if I would want to go to a music thing, but, like, I might someday if I was rich. If I had a bunch of money, I might want to go to, like, a comedy show, like, because, like, sometimes when I'm scrolling on YT Shorts, I do see, like, funny clips of, like, funny stand-up comedians, and I do think if I had money, I would actually be interested going to a comedy show.
Oh, yeah, definitely, like, see, like, I haven't seen any of just the big, like, pure stand-up comics like that, but it was funny, my ex-girlfriend, who, like, we're still best friends, by the way, so you might, like, hear it as either, depending on the time frame, but we went to see, like, she loves Impractical Jokers, and so they came to Vegas, in, like, December of 2023, so, you know, I got her some tickets, and we got to see Impractical Jokers live, like, their live stand-up set. They were really good. They were really, really good.
Yeah, but also, like, comedy shows in general, like, sometimes in the video versions of them, they show the crowd, that they sometimes show camera angles of, like, the crowd, and the crowds at, like, comedy shows, it's just, like, 100 people or less. Like, it's, like, it feels more connected, and, like, you can actually, like, talk to the comedian, or, like, ask them a question sometimes, too, if you're lucky. Like, it actually feels interactive, not just, like, a bot.
Yeah, like, and that's
going
totally
to a
the
Taylor
thing.
Swift concert or some shit, it's just like, there's so much people, and, like, you can't really interact with anyone. It's just, like, it's better to just stay home at that point for, like, a Taylor Swift concert or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's the thing, too, that, like, I think is my whole point, is even though I have paid for big shows, and I do like going to big shows, I way more like going to smaller stuff, like both for comedy and for music. Like in comedy, we used to me and my ex, we used to go to this thing a lot, like try to go as often as we could, called Manic Monday, and I mean it was literally just like a kind of an open mic night. It was at this little just like hole in the wall bar. And they would just do like open mic comedy, you know, people would sign up for it and they'd get like, you know, 3 to 5 minutes for a set, and then, you know, just a little bit of banter afterwards. And it was so much fun. Every single time we went, you'd like, obviously you'd have your comics that are like just trying to figure it out and like struggling up there, but then you have these comics that'll just come out of nowhere, just these random people, and they will fucking kill. Like they will absolutely kill. And it's like, it just feels like so much more fun to go to, because it's like, it just proves that, like, yes, you do have your big comics and they're awesome and they're super funny, but it's like, you can literally find something incredibly hilarious. Just find these incredible comics, like, just at your local bar, like, down the street. And it's the same with music. I love going to local punk shows, local shoegaze shows, and indie shows, and just, like, going to these local events, because some of these bands are just really fucking good. And they don't cost a dime. They do not cost a dime to go to.
I am thinking, I forgot to tell you this earlier since we're on the topic of music, like, one of my older brothers is a musician, but the thing is, he's such a small creator, and, like, he makes so little money that he just has a normal job. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just, like, a side thing, because he can't make any money off it. Like, I remember one time a few years ago, I was, like, having a video call with my brother, who's a musician. Well, I have multiple brothers, but, like, the one who is a musician, and, like, he talked about how, like, he only made... Well, my musician brother, he lives in, like, Germany at the moment, but, like, he said he only made, like, a few euros after a few years of doing music stuff. Like, basically, with music stuff, he only made a few euros off of it, which is like a few dollars off it after years of work.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really, really hard to, like, break through, and like, even start making anything off of it. But, you know, you just do it for the love of it. Like, you just really do it for the love of it. And if it catches on, it catches on, you know, and people will recognize that it's just something that you really love.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you questions since we kept talking about music and podcasts and all that.
Yeah, right? We've just been having a conversation. Like, this podcast has just been a conversation.
How did you first hear about VidLii?
I think I was just... So, really, it started with VidBit. I don't know, I was looking for some kind of YouTube alternative, or just like some classic style YouTube. And I had seen Zipcast over the years. I never really like made an account or used it, but I had like scrolled through Zipcast once or twice. And so, you know, I was looking for other alternatives to it. And then I eventually found VidBit. And so for me, I come at it, you know, differently than a lot of the kind of new users of it, because I was there for 07, 08 YouTube. Like, that was some of the first, like, YouTube videos that I had seen. And then, you know, I just kind of seen it over the years. And then when I got, I think for my 11th birthday or 12th birthday, I got a Kindle Fire, which is making me feel old, really, how like... old that fucking tablet is. But I got a Kindle Fire, and in 2012 was when I started watching YouTube.
My like eyes just lit up. I remember having a Kindle Fire, and even today I have one. Like,
yeah,
I actually have the script for the podcast, not necessarily the script, but like the questions for every question in the podcast written on my 2021 Kindle right now to ask you on
oh my god, that's
like,
awesome.
I still use Kindles, and I've used it since like 2015 or something. Well, 2016, yeah. But like, Kindle Fires has just been my tablet of choice for years. So it's nice to see someone else using as their choice for years.
Yeah, now to be fair, phones are fucking big enough where I have not used a tablet for like at least a few years. But, you know, that was my first tablet, was a Kindle Fire. I got it in Christmas of 2011. So yeah, like in very early 2012 was when I like first really started watching YouTube, and I made my YouTube channel in 2013. And so, you know, by the time I was in high school, I was like 15 actually. And, you know, I was looking for an alternative or like something online that had the classic YouTube feel, since I didn't really like use it like consciously much. And so, found VidBit, and, so, you know, AM, Berg Productions, like some of those guys inspired me to kind of just start doing rants and commentaries about stuff. And then, you know, eventually it just evolved. Like, VidBit closed, and then we had VidBit Future and Vanillo, and those kind of closed. And then VidLii came up in, like, I think it was 2016, that VidLii came up. And so, you know, it was like 2016 or 2017.
VidLii came up in, like, July 11th, 2017, I believe. Or July
2017, yeah.
I believe.
That's right, because all of it... Yeah, okay, so, like,
was it July? Or was it May? I'm so confused.
It was either May or July.
I can't remember dates that well as I used to.
But, you know, regardless, you know, so eventually after all that, you know, VidLii came up. And so, running concurrently with that for a second was Vlare, but that fucking up and died. So, you know, VidLii. You know, that was just kind of the start of it. But it started way, way, way back when with VidBit. And I just kind of, like... As I kept in touch with the community and wanted to see where projects went next, I just kind of ended up here.
VidLii is one of the lastest longing old YouTube nostalgia sites, or at least actually the longest lasting one. Like, most of these nostalgia sites like only last like maybe 3 years at most, then shut down. Like, VidLii is like on the track of becoming 10 years old. Like. And, like, VidLii developed all this new culture now that's different. It's, like, VidLii is, like, an actual proper video sharing site now, not just, like, for nostalgia purposes, like it was at the beginning. Like,
yeah, like
it actually established itself properly.
Yeah, it just has its little own, you know, community now. And it's been super cool to kind of get back into for that reason and kind of start to explore, because a lot of the people that came up with me are just not active on here anymore. And the ones that are only upload sporadically and are not really in those groups like they were. So, you know, it's kind of cool to see the new guys and the new community that's sort of popped up now.
I was gonna say something earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. you said you started making commentary videos because of some people in, like, 2015. I was just thinking, like, if you were starting commentary videos in 2015, you must know who Leafy is Here is. Like,
oh, of course.
I'm just saying, he was, like, the most big guy back then.
Of course. And back, the funny thing was back when I, back when my voice was still a little bit, higher pitched, obviously being a teenager, it was funny, because back then I kind of still do now, but, I start my videos with, like, hey, what's up, you guys? And so what was funny was I got jokes and comments back in the day of, like, oh, Leafy's here, clone, he's just copying Leafy. And it's like, I watched Leafy, but it wasn't like his brand of commentary was, like, something I wanted to make, let's say. He was very, obviously we know the controversy around Leafy. Yeah. I don't have to explain it.
I don't know the controversy that much, because, like, the thing is, like, Leafy wasn't really a thing I watched. Like, I was so young in 2016, I was just watching SML, Smosh, and then some Minecraft videos. Like, commentary stuff or, like, adult stuff like that, I didn't watch in 2016 since I was, like, 7 back then.
Yeah,
like,
so,
I was, like, all these, like, older people talking about Leafy is Here. It's like, I don't know that guy because I watched different content back then.
Yeah, definitely go look up the whole story. Like, I don't want to get into it on the whole pod, but it was just kind of like he'd make kind of edgy commentary and, like, edgy jokes, just mainly, like, joking around with, like, the really ridiculous cringe videos on the internet. But eventually, it just got to where it was like, it almost felt like he was just bullying people, pretty much, like kids, autistic people online and shit like that. Yeah. He just kind of bully, and then eventually it just sort of blew up where it was like, iDubbbz uploaded that content cop, and it was kind of all over. And really, when the whole adpocalypse happened, the thing was, like, the main controversy that happened was Leafy was the first channel that was demonetized, and in the whole adpocalypse and sort of what was made in the notes, like, internal notes that leaked, not, like, anything public, but internal notes that leaked. Yeah. They kind of got a reference point about which channels would be demonetized first and what are kind of, like, the standard of how other channels should be graded, like, to be demonetized. And Leafy is Here is mentioned by name. They built the whole thing around him. Yeah.
I thought
it was a whole big thing.
I thought the adpocalypse started because... Yeah,
it started because of PewDiePie and the bridge,
made a
but
video
then
where he, like, paid some Indian guys.
Well,
I thought it started because PewDiePie paid some Indian guys to, like, hold a sign saying "Death to all" or something like that.
Yeah, that was what got the ball rolling. Was that video, and then you had the bridge incident around the same time, and then you had Leafy is Here and all the drama surrounding him. So it was kind of like this big wave that sort of happened that caused, like, the mass exodus of advertisers. But Leafy is Here was the only, like, was basically one of the main people mentioned by name to sort of, like, grade their demonetization system around. So, I recommend looking up the full story. I don't want to take up this whole pod, but look up the full story. Yeah. It's super, like, wild. And I was right, like, front row center for it, so...
All I remember about Leafy is that in 2020, he had a comeback and he just started making fun of Pokemon, and then he got banned for that or something. Like, yeah, he just came back in 2020 just to talk shit about one girl, I guess. And
yeah, that's
got
about
banned.
Right. That's about right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, why did you decide to use VidLii?
It was sort of this thing, again, so much of this starts on VidBit, but, it was just kind of this thing where I came for the nostalgia, but then I just kind of stayed for the community as I, like, saw more creators that were creating all this awesome stuff. Eventually I found the Discord for, the original VidBit, and, when I went on there, I talked to a lot of the people that I thought were really cool and just sort of, like, made my presence known in the general channel, just kind of joining in the conversations. And, eventually when VidBit closed down, that's how I found out there was going to be a VidBit future. That's how I found out there was going to be a Vanillo. And then, that's how I got contacted, with Jan, so that, when he, like, finally revived the old VidBit project and turned it into VidLii, like, I was basically, like, the first person that he sent the link to, where it was like, hey, this shit's done, come check it out. So, that's sort of what I stayed for a lot. I just came for the nostalgia, but then I ended up staying and actually trying to be a part of it for the community around here.
I'm just wondering what the fuck happened with Yan, because the thing is, like, I know in 2022, he sold VidLii, and then he just started talking shit about VidLii, saying how he wants nothing to do with the project after all the gore happened on it. But, like, what happened after 2022? Like,
I honestly really don't know.
He just disappeared online, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that. I mean, I could tell, like, by the end of him having it, he just kind of lost passion for it. And so, you know, it's just one of those deals where it's like he lost passion for it and he wanted to sell it. And then, you know, once all the gore stuff started happening, and, you know, I imagine being the creator of VidLii and, like, only having recently sold it by that point, I could only imagine that, you know, people were probably messaging him and asking him about, you know, what all the gore was and what stuff was going on. Yeah. And so, you know, I imagine that's why he felt he had to make a statement where it's like, hey, listen, I do not want anything to do with this site anymore. I sold it. I don't have anything to do with it. If y'all are seeing the gore on it, that is not my fault and it's not my problem. Yeah. Like, I get where he's coming.
I'm just thinking after he sold it and, like, saw all the gore, he probably had, like, an Oppenheimer moment.
Oh my God,
like how Oppenheimer felt after the bombs dropped.
Yeah, when the fucking bombs struck. Yeah, no, I can only imagine that probably had to be a similar feeling. But, you know, like, afterwards, I don't know what happened to him. He just kind of disappeared.
Did you stop using VidLii in 2022?
Just got busy. I mean, I'll be honest, it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, I was starting to get, just, like, more serious about, because I had been in bands. Like, I'll explain kind of the backstory and then get into it, because I've been playing music for, like, 9 years now, and, was in a couple of bands, in late 2022, but I was kind of like, or really I was in one band in late 2022, but I was just kind of unhappy with the direction she was taking it, and, you know, sort of like, in that band, sort of started to learn how to use DAWs and recording softwares and kind of starting to get a setup together, and so I decided I wanted to, you know, kind of start leaning into writing and actually, like, putting my own projects together. And so, you know, it's been kind of a process of, like, you know, finding different people and then, like, you know, having to switch people and making new connections and stuff like that. But, you know, eventually got to the point now where I've been, you know, kind of playing with music with the same people for the last few years now and writing with them. And that was when that's kind of was ramping up, was like, you know, late 2022, early 2023, essentially. And so it became a thing where it was like, I just wanted to focus on writing music and playing music. And so video making was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, like, I'll keep this in mind. And whenever I get the inspiration for it or see something that really grabs my attention, I'll make a video on it. And it just so happened to take about 2.5 or 3 years to do that. But, you know, it was just one of those things. So that was why, you know, that was kind of the main reason why. And then just in general, just life.
I kind of assumed, not as me, but also, like, pretty much everyone on VidLii besides, like, people who are friends with you, but, like, most of VidLii, including me, for a long time just thought you quit VidLii because of the gore or, like, Nazism or something like that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't because of the gore. Like, I'm sure that would have definitely been very off-putting if I was using VidLii, but, you know, life got so busy, like, because by that point, if the time frame is right of, like, 2023 when the gore was starting, by that point I had just gotten promoted at my warehouse job from shift lead to supervisor, so I was supervising a whole warehouse of people, and I had also just gotten into a relationship, so, you know, I had my girlfriend, I had, you know, this supervisor job, and then I was writing music, so it was just like, I just didn't even use VidLii. I was just too busy to notice.
Yeah. Also, yeah, by the way, it was weird. The stuff where, like, you having a job, it actually explains basically everything, because, like, I always thought it was weird because I came to the conclusion that you quit VidLii because of the gore, but it was weird that you would still use VidLii, like, once every few days to, like, check on notifications. Like, that
like, that was pretty much just, exactly...
like, this leftist mad about the Nazism.
Yeah, no, like, you know, that was... Like, again, it would have been very off-putting, but I'm so used to people putting up troll content, and, you know, trying to abuse the system on VidLii that's not even, like, the craziest shit I've seen on there. So, you know, it was just literally that. It was literally exactly that. Like, you know, I was just so busy with other stuff that's, like, I'd occasionally check VidLii just to, you know, see any notifications, see if anyone messaged me, or see what the comments were like, and then, you know, once I checked that and, like, my email or something, I'd just kind of go on about my day.
Yeah, that is the truck driving thing explains basically everything about your disappearance. Like, the other explanations people had before, they had, like, problems, or, like, they had problems with the explanation with how you use VidLii, but, like, the truck driving, it makes complete sense and explains everything without contradictions or anything.
Yeah, like, and that's the funny thing too is, like, truck driving was a pretty recent thing that I kind of got into, because, you know, the aforementioned, like, warehouse job that I had worked at that for, like, 4 years, and then, like, I worked there until late 2023 when, they kind of laid off all of their middle management, and I was one of those middle management people, so I kind of, like, did a couple oddball jobs in, like, early 2024, and then, you know, eventually, you know, with just a really just cool moment and really good push from my ex, I decided to follow a passion and get into trucking school and see if I could you know, become a truck driver and get to, like, actually drive for a living. And so I finished trucking school in July of 2024, and then just sort of went on my mentorship, and then once I finished my mentorship in August, I became a solo truck driver, and I've been doing that for now a year and a couple months, and it's been awesome. I've just been loving it so much.
What I was gonna say, I have 2 points to say. First off, for the warehouse job, why did they lay off in 2023 but not in 2020? Because, like, most companies laid off employees in 2020 due to, like, COVID, but, like, it's weird that they didn't lay off in 2020 due to COVID, but only lay off after it ended. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, logically, why a boss would, like, still have their employees come in during COVID, but, like, only lay off after it ended.
Yeah, they actually boomed during that time, because...
Oh, yeah, because of deliveries?
Yeah, because the thing was, I worked for a car parts warehouse, and so when COVID kind of popped up, and then over the course of, like, the next couple years, where you got the stimulus checks coming in, and then you had then you had jobs opening back up, you had places opening back up, people just had income around that time to spend on car parts, and so, you know, business was really good around that time. But then, you know, in, like, 2023, it wasn't exactly the business was bad, it was just that internal mismanagement had basically made them, like, bleed money. So in response, instead of course fixing the problem, because why would they do that, they ended up laying off their entire middle management. So, you know, that's welcome to warehousing and business. That's how shit happens. That's how the cookie crumbles.
The other point I was gonna make is that I might just be really retarded for saying this, but, like, it's weird that truck driving school is even a thing, because, like, I assumed you just needed, like, a driver's license and to know how to pick up really heavy shit. Like, I thought it was just lifting heavy shit and knowing how to drive a car that's needed. I didn't know there was, like, all these, like, schools for it. Like, I assumed truck driving was, like, the job you picked if you don't want to go to college or get a certificate.
Oh no, it's a big thing, because there's a lot about, you know, trucks that you kind of need to know, like, in order to be, you know, like, viable to drive one. You know, you gotta prove that, like, you kind of know what you're doing before they give you a license to do the real heavy stuff. Because you know, because trucks, for example, they use air brakes, and, you know, so it uses air pressure to release and like, engage and disengage the brakes, and so you have to know about how airlines work, how the air tanks work, and how to do a proper, like, air bleed test and stuff like that for your pre-trip before you leave every day. And so you just kind of, there's a lot that you need to know, because the trucks that I drive, it's not like, you know, it's the real proper, like, 18-wheeler semi-trucks. That's what I drive. And so, you know, you need to know how to maneuver those and park those and sort of, you know, kind of just operate them, because it's not, you know, it's not any small thing. It's 75 feet in length, and it's, you know, stuff that we're hauling 80,000 pounds. Like, if you don't know, like if you don't know how to haul 80,000 pounds in the rain, or, like, what procedures to do around a corner, like, you're fucking dead. Like, you're gonna die.
For truck driving, do you have to carry stuff off the truck and carry stuff in, or do they have another employee to carry stuff in now? Or do you have to carry everything yourself out?
No, so it's for me specifically. I just do my main thing that I kind of do is I'll work with preloaded trailers. So like at the warehouse themselves, they will like they'll have a yard dog to kind of move them around, but they will load and unload the trailers themselves. And so when I show up, all I have to do is bring an empty trailer in, drop that trailer in whatever parking spot they tell me to, and then pick up my paperwork and then pick up the already loaded trailer from whatever parking spot that it's in and then, take off. I don't have to load it. I don't have to touch a single package in it. And then even if it is like a live unload where I have to like go to the warehouse and wait for them to unload, they still unload it and it's all still palletized. So they just have to drive a forklift in there and grab the pallets out. It takes maybe 10-15 minutes. Yeah. If you have a good warehouse that has competent people, but should take like 10-15 minutes to get all the pallets out of there, and then you're good to go.
That's kind of interesting. I assumed it was like the truck drivers had to carry everything themselves out and in the truck or something, and like, I don't know. But then again, like, the stereotype of truck drivers is that they're fat, and fat people, it's hard for them to carry heavy stuff. So maybe I'm just stupid for asking that, because if the stereotype is that truck drivers can't carry things physically heavy, then it makes sense that they wouldn't do that or something. Like, truck drivers aren't stereotyped to be these muscular guys like construction workers are that can like carry like stuff like multiple times their body weight.
Yeah, like thankfully it's a stereotype that is changing. Like definitely a lot more, people like me and a lot of like younger people are getting into trucking now. And you do have those stereotypes, of course. Now I will say I wish I was a little bit more lean, but other than that, it's not like the stereotype at all. Like really, at least for me and at least for the company that I work for, is not kind of that stereotype. But like it's, like thank God we don't have to unload them. But like, thank God we don't have to load them and unload them. They're all palletized. Like at least the ones I work with, they're all palletized, and they all like take them out with forklifts. Like once I pull in the docks. So usually at most I'm spending like 30 or 45 minutes at like a receiver to unload. But it's I like that it's that way.
Have you ever had to like drive a truck into like Mexico or Canada or anything like that, or is it only just mainland America?
So actually, funny enough, only regionally. So the account that I'm on, it's
really,
so the account that I'm on stays regional. So I only bounce between Vegas, California, like mainly SoCal area, and Phoenix, and then just kind of do that in a triangle. So thankfully I stay regional. I stay coming home at least every few days, most often every like couple days I'm home. And so, thankfully there's not much bullshit to deal with. There are accounts that go to Mexico and Canada. I'm not on one, and fucking thank God.
Yeah. I just like kind of assumed you'd be like traveling to like all over the place, or like sometimes even like doing a trip where you have to go through Canada into Alaska or some shit. I don't know, I assumed it would be like one of those people where like they do like the really, really long trip.
Thankfully not. Now there are some people that do that, and I always say more power to them. There's some people that can do that type of life and actually love to have that type of life. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day, but that day is not today.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, it is harder, but, like, it's nice, but it's, like, you can see, like, climates changing and all that. Like, traveling throughout the U.S., like, you could see it turn to desert, then turn to, like, hot, then turn to snow within a few days. Like, you could, like, see climates slowly change or something. I don't know.
No, you totally do, and it is a lot of fun. I actually recently helped my parents move from Tennessee back to here, and so got to drive all the way from Memphis, Tennessee, back over here to Las Vegas, and so it was really cool to get to kind of see the climates change. Like, I mean, legitimately see the surroundings of everything change. It was crazy just to see the environment go from like trees and grass to desert land. It was pretty cool.
I had an idea in my mind that like when I move back to America someday and I get a driver's license, the one thing I'd want to do is just drive all the way to Wyoming just to simply see the VidLii headquarters in real life. Like, the VidLii headquarters are in Wyoming, and I would love to actually go to that building and record a video there showing what it's like in the VidLii headquarters.
I didn't even know
it's not the headquarters, but it's like the building they... Well, it's not exactly a headquarters, I think. Like, it's not an office where, like, Aniki and, like, the VidLii devs work together physically with computers. It's not like that, but, like, it's just simply, like, a building they use for, like, mailing. Like, it's the address you use if you want to send mail to VidLii.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I don't think there's anyone
like where their PO box
there.
is.
But it's just like the post office.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean.
But I would love to go there and record
I was about to be like, what the fuck? VidLii has a HQ? Like, when did that shit happen?
But I mean, I guess it's the unofficial HQ, since it's like a physical building for VidLii, even if no one's
the mailing
working
address.
There.
Yeah.
I actually assume since you're already doing these long drives and you're in the general region, you could probably record a video of you going to Wyoming to see the VidLii mailing building yourself. Like, I assume that would be a really good video idea for you, and you're already in the same region as where Wyoming is. Well, I mean, and like you already do long trucking, so like driving to Wyoming shouldn't be that much of a problem for you.
Yeah,
from Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah, if I ever get a load to Wyoming one day, maybe. But you know, we'll see. Maybe one of these days, if I really feel some inspiration, I'll maybe make a trip up there. We'll see.
How did you feel when you became the biggest channel on VidLii besides the official VidLii channel?
That was pretty crazy. That one was actually pretty crazy and like really special because you know, for a long time, it was Aaron. Like, you know, Aaron was always number one, and I still think he's behind me right now. Yeah, he is. So, it was really, like, I was so surprised, just so surprised, but also, like, it was quite an honor when I eventually passed Aaron, because that totally seemed way out of my like expectation of where the channel would end up to be like the biggest besides the official one. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it was like just this crazy thing where it's like all throughout the hiatus, like, you know, because I think I had left with like a little bit over 1,000, and then I just kind of kept seeing it gradually keep growing and getting more subscribers, and I was like, who is subscribing to my channel? I have not uploaded in years. But it was really cool to see, and I don't know, it's just really cool.
Yeah. I don't want to, like, be narcissistic, but, like, I have this weird feeling that someday I would be the biggest VidLii channel. Like, the thing is, like, I grew to 200 subs within a year, while, like, all these other big channels that are bigger than me, they spent, like, 7 years to get only, like, 500. So, mathematically, with just how many subscribers I get per day on average compared to everyone else, mathematically, I should become, like, within the top 5 within a few years. Like, just using basic math, if assuming at average rates of subscribers. But, I mean, YouTuber Social Emery's, like, got way more subs than me, and he's only been on VidLii for, like, 2 weeks longer than me, so, like, he will probably become bigger than you someday, but, like, I would probably become, like, within the top 5 within, like, 5 years, because everyone else that's big, they spent, like, way longer than me to get there.
Yeah.
And I have a faster rate than everyone else, mostly, besides Social Emery. He's, like, way faster than everyone else. He got, like, 700 subs within a year. Well, actually, less than a year. 700 subs within less than a year of being on VidLii. Social Emery's, like, insanely fast how big he's growing. He'll, like... I genuinely think within the next year he'll be bigger than you. For example, with, like, Shingo, he's at, like, 475 subs right now. And he's been on VidLii since 2017, I believe. So, Shingo, just looking at mathematically speaking, I should grow bigger than him within like, a few years.
As long as you stay active and stay, you know, doing big things and doing big projects, it's always certainly possible. I think that was always, like, when I kind of think back on what I've been able to do and how I got to be, like, the biggest channel is like, I just look back and have just reflected on how cool it was to do a lot of the projects that I did. Like, because not only did I have TT Hub for a long time and, you know, had fun, fun times, but I had a lot of other just like huge collaborations and just huge videos on my channel, and being able to like interview the devs and creators like of the sites and sort of kind of be the first one to get the scoop about a lot of stuff. Like that was a big reason why my channel like grew the way it did. And so, you know, don't be afraid to kind of get even deeper into the discords and like just start to kind of ask around and be like, hey, what's coming up, like what's some of the new like features going on, because you know it's pretty cool to be in the loop. And I like that we have an actually present developer now, so that you know that helps for getting some news.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me about Lulwhat. The thing about Lulwhat, when he ran VidLii, the problem was a lot of people were mad at him for like a bunch of different reasons, but I simply the reason I didn't. The main thing I don't like about him is just how absent he is from VidLii. Like, that's the thing about Lulwhat. Like, he didn't get involved, and like, it wasn't even like he hired other people to be involved for him if he was busy. It's like, he didn't add anything, he didn't fix bugs, he didn't do anything besides just have the mods have free reign over banning accounts and stuff. Like, he just had the mods do everything for him without any devs. Well, like, Aniki, he either does everything himself or, like, hires other people to do everything. Like, he makes sure everything just works.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's been super appreciated, because, yeah, like, that was what really sucked about the Lulwhat era was, you know, I had interviewed him, like, I got the first interview when he had first bought it, and, you know, he had made all these promises, and unfortunately, like, a lot of them just did not end up coming to fruition. Like, he really was just kind of absent and didn't really do shit with this site, and I think that kind of like that also kind of like helped with my disinterest a bit, and like what was made it hard to get inspiration for videos, because it's like I don't know, I don't have anything to like say about this fucking site anymore. Nothing's happening on it, and so, you know, that was something cool. When I had seen that the owner had changed, I was like, whoa, that's cool.
Well, the thing is, like, you can make other content besides VidLii drama. Like, maybe you could make a video about like politics, or like make a video about like some random thing you don't like. Like, for example, I made a video on why I don't like investors or the stock market or something. Like, you could just make a video about like pet peeves you have, or like story time, or like just make a comedy video, or like there's a bunch of things you could do outside of just VidLii drama. So like,
yeah, no, I mean, I totally know
not existing shouldn't be the reason you don't make content.
Yeah, no, I totally know, and like, you know, I've had some creative ideas over the years, but, you know, like I said, it just all takes time, and it was time that I just didn't have before, and I kind of have a little bit more time with it now. So, you know, it was like, that was part of what was so cool about finally uploading the secrets video, was not only was that like, not only am I super proud of the reception it got, because it's like, it's at almost 700 views now, and I was so like super happy and like,
I don't know,
you know, grateful about the response that it got, and it was just kind of a way to like put an actual like, hey, this is something I've been working on for a while, like completely outside of any of the community, and like I finally finished it. Like it, dislike it, I'm glad it's out. You know, so I'm like, please enjoy.
Well, I think I tried to watch the secret videos, but it just seemed really boring to me, and I only watched like 5 seconds and didn't watch. Like, I don't know, the thing is, like, I'm so used to you making commentary type videos that like a music video or some shit, like, it's just not something I'm interested in when I'm subscribed. Like, there's certain content when people are subscribed to different people where, like, if people make completely different content, they're just not going to watch it because that's not why they're subscribed. Like, I mean, I do this myself, uploading a bunch of random stuff that some people may subscribe me for only one type of content but don't like the other stuff too. Like, yeah. I think that's the reason I didn't watch the secret videos, just because I subscribed to you for the commentary, so seeing other things, I just don't want to watch it because I only subscribe to you for one type of thing.
Oh, yeah,
and I feel like you're the same with me.
Yeah, and, you know, that's totally fair. Like, that, you know, it's totally fair. I think, because, like, I was kind of thinking back and forth whether I wanted to make, like, a channel specifically for for the project, because I already have one on YouTube and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? Let me just do a little test release first, sort of test the waters. And the response, it's been really good. I imagine that there's probably some people that were disappointed that it's not a commentary. I totally get it. Because I'm kind of the same way too. Who like sometimes when it's like I subscribe to a channel for one thing, and I was like, what the fuck happened? But I just, I just use my channel a lot just to sort of like do creative things and test out stuff right now. And I was happy that there was a lot of people that really dug the song. It was a pretty cool thing to see.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, you said the reason you don't really upload content nowadays in 2025 is that there isn't really much VidLii news, but like 2025, outside of Lulwet leaving, 2025 was filled with VidLii drama, like more than 2024. Like there's just so much drama, like you could have made videos about. Like you could have talked about Basara Mondo and talked about his like schizo rants and mental breakdowns. You could have like talked about the VidLii wars. There's so much stuff you could have talked about if you decided to make videos and use VidLii this year. But like, I get it, but it's just like this year was just filled with drama you could have made videos about if you chose to.
Yeah, I definitely I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was. I definitely I just didn't catch a lot of it because it's not about trying to find VidLii content of why I didn't make videos. It was more to that just a lot of my creative energy went to songs and songwriting and band collaborations, and so I just didn't really do a lot of video stuff. But I'm sure there was plenty of videos that I could have made about it, but that's the main reason why I didn't, was that I've been a lot more focused on music than I have much else. That's been a lot of my creative energy is going into music.
Yeah. What's your favorite newer VidLii channel? Like, if you have any VidLii channel you like that was created 2023 or after?
Let's see. That is a good question. Because I haven't caught too many. I know that White, Soil Emery, however you said their name was, they did the speed paints and stuff, and I'd seen they did a speed paint of my icon, and I thought that was pretty cool, especially just for using what was it, fucking paint? Yeah, they used paint, dude, and it was it turned out really, really good. And then let's see, I forget when was Shingo a recent channel? No, he was one of an older channel.
Shingo,
he was making some good videos lately. But I've been able to catch a couple. It definitely could be more into the community and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm not I don't have too much time to fully watch a bunch of content on VidLii these days, but the ones that I do catch recently, I think Kitty74 did a couple. Actually Kitty74 was pretty good too. I almost forgot about him, but I had seen an animation that he did of me, and then I checked out some of his other stuff. Kitty74 is also really good.
I can actually recommend you some newer VidLii channels if you're interested. If you have if you want to spend your time to watch them, not sure if you'd like them, but there's Gudetama 2, he's a guy who makes libertarian content. Well, he doesn't really post that much, but he posted some content that was really good this year. And then there was Contrarian Baka 2, also making libertarian content, which I like. There was what's it again? There was My Genuine Sneed, but he makes schizo neo-Nazi content, just him rambling about Jews and stuff like that. It's funny to see him have schizo mental breakdowns.
What in the world? Yeah.
Also, there used to be a good VidLii channel in 2025 called Milk Drinker, but he deleted his account in May.
He did. I saw a couple of his videos.
Drinker, I really wish you could have saw his content or something, because I feel like you would actually be friends with him. Talking to you and talking to him, you guys are perfect matches to be friends or something like that. Or you guys seem like brothers, basically. You have this general sort of interest in you have generally same sort of interest in all that. Milk Drinker and you would be great friends.
Yeah, I just become kind of like inactive on like the bigger like Discords by then, so I'm sure like we would have gotten along well because I did enjoy some of his videos before he delete all his shit.
What are some problems with VidLii you would like to see changed?
That is a good question. Mostly because I need to use VidLii enough these days to actually find problems with it. Sometimes, okay, there is one comment. There is legitimately one thing that I can think of. Sorry, words. There's one thing that I can think of, and it's that sometimes the comments overlap on the likes, so I have to go over and like hover over and select all of the text to actually see what it says because the likes are covering it up. Please, Aniki, if you're watching this podcast, fix that because, oh my god, I just want to read the comments without highlighting the whole comment because the likes are covering it.
Yeah. Well, BF3K, he's been developing a new watch page for VidLii since, like, the beginning of this year. And you can actually go to Testly page and try to use the beta version of it, but it actually fixes that problem you talked about. And he said he was planning on releasing the feature fully as the default before 2026, but like it's already December and he still hasn't finished the update yet, so I think it's coming later than that, personally.
Oh,
because
yeah, he
December
sure did.
Now and still nothing.
Yeah, like I'd seen the new player and I thought it was just the new player, but I'm seeing it now. Yeah, that's actually, oh my god, please put that in the other ones too, please.
Well, the main problem with the new update, the new watch page update, is that it will break all the old themes, like the CSS classes and all that, or like they have different labels and names, so like it will break the watch page, and it's not really possible to like keep the legacy themes still working with the new update. Or I guess maybe it is, but it just takes a lot more time. Or like there's so much bugs or something with the old way VidLii worked, so having it rewritten would be better anyway. I don't know. I just know when it releases, it will break the old themes, and I actually have a theme on VidLii called like the super dark mode theme, where it's like dark mode but even more dark, and like he said he would like help
dark
me
mode, but
create
darker.
a new version of but like he actually BF3K actually said that he would actually help me create a new version that works with the watch page when it releases with the new watch page, so like that would be cool. How does your family feel about VidLii?
Oh, my family doesn't know shit about VidLii. I think I've told my parents before about it, and I think they might have checked it out like a couple times. Like they know that I make videos for VidLii, but I don't think they've ever actually like explored it, or like because they'll mainly just check out like the YouTube versions, if like at all, pretty much. Like I think they know that even though it is a thing that I like to do, I kind of like it's that weird thing they always kind of have with your parents of like, I don't know if I want you watching my content, but it's they like that I like doing it.
I don't tell my family anything about what I do online. Like they would probably beat me or like take away my internet if they knew everything.
Yeah.
Like just
yeah,
I don't know. I've done a lot of crazy stuff online, so like I would probably get punished if they knew.
Yeah, to be fair, like I don't know that my parents would like the full extent of my full VidLii history, but I like that they just let me do it and sort of like trusted me enough to like not be like a total fucking dumbass. Well, I've had my dumbass moments on here, but not like total dumbass.
Yeah. Well, the thing's like, I would probably be open about it if I moved out with my own job someday. Like, if I move out, they can't do anything to me if they know. So like, I would be okay with everyone in my family knowing, because even if they wanted to, they can't punish me.
Yeah, you can't do shit about it.
Like, if I'm already moved out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gore era of VidLii?
Well, like I said earlier, like I didn't really catch a lot of the gore era. If I were to have been there, from what I have been told and like the little bits that I've seen, I definitely I definitely would have been off-put by it for sure, or especially just the fact that it, had never kind of even attempted to be stopped. because we've had plenty of gore eras before. And listen, the thing was, I am old enough to remember the full era of, like, people surprising each other with, like, 2 girls, 1 cup and shit. Or, like, fucking Pain Olympics and shit. And then, you know, in high school, I followed, like, Filthy Frank and, you know, iDubbbz and, you know, all those guys. So it's like, you know, like, being around 4chan circles and, like, you know, seeing just other circles of the internet all throughout the early to mid-2010s. Seeing the gore itself was like the least of my worries, to be honest, even though it's very off-putting. It was more off-putting that nothing was being done about it than actually seeing it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the gore era of VidLii was worse than the stuff back when you were a kid. Like, 2 girls, 1 cup is like nothing compared to like cartel like torture videos or something.
Well, yeah, like, it's nothing compared to like ISIS beheadings.
Not too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I guess like, what I really should say is I was raised in the LiveLeak era of, like, when ISIS had channels on LiveLeak and were uploading their own beheadings and, like, torturings and stuff. You know, I've seen those, so, you know, it's certainly not fun. So that's what I mean with, it's like, I've seen that type of gore. It's not that type of gore that bothers me, it's just more that, like, it would have been very off-putting to, like, seen all of that shit just, like, on the homepage and no one even attempting to remove it. That would have been the off-putting part for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. The fact that no one's trying to stop it is worse than the fact that it happens itself.
Yeah, because, I mean, listen, the core audience of VidLii are internet trolls and, like, people that be perusing 4chan and best score. So, like, you know, that happens on occasion. I've seen that plenty of times, but usually those videos will last, like, maybe a couple minutes on the platform at most, or, like, 5 minutes on the platform at most, and then they get removed, where it's like, I just wasn't used to seeing, like, a homepage or, like, a video tab filled with gore, and I'm just like, no one's removing this?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there was a lot of gore, but there was also a lot of, like, mass shooter edits and stuff on for VidLii, like Brenton Tarrant like, edits and stuff.
Yeah, like fucking Dylan Klebold edit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like VidLii used to just be filled with like neo-Nazis and like basically and like LARPers who just like think everyone who kills people with a gun is like a hero or something. Like,
yeah, right. Like Lewis,
a lot of
like fucking fucking Hitler fan cam, like what? Like that's the shit that's being uploaded. Like that's.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like most mass shooters are like actual retards. Like, for example, Anders Breivik, which is like a Norwegian mass shooter that like killed a bunch of kids on some like private island or something. The thing about that is that white supremacists praise him for, like, being against the Great Replacement or whatever that. But, like, the thing is, like, he literally killed white people. Like, he killed white children, literally helping to cause the Great Replacement. Like, he only killed white people. He didn't kill any black or brown people, yet these people praise him as if he killed black people when he only killed white people. Like, they are actually retarded for supporting Anders Breivik. Like, Anders Breivik literally helped the Great Replacement happen. Yet white supremacists support him. Like, if anything, black supremacists should support Anders Breivik since he killed white kids and, like, helped stop the future generation of white people in Norway. Yeah. Like, it's just bad logic, a lot of these people.
Yeah, I think really most of the time anything having to do with, like, any supremacy, like, most of the time anything having to do with supremacy usually is like, a pretty retarded take. I'll happily say that. Yeah. That's the real, like, I think objective is, like, if you're, like, having any kind of supremacy, it's like, okay, you're a little bit special. You might have needed them growing up.
I mean, for me, it is funny LARPing or, like, making jokes about it, but, like, actually getting into, like, that sort of stuff for real, not just, like, as a joke or, like, to rage bait people online.
Yeah,
actually getting into that.
No, actually legitimately getting into it, it's like, your brain is a little bit too smooth.
I don't know. By the way, this is the same guy who used to make George Floyd creepypastas saying white supremacy is bad.
What the fuck? Okay.
You know what those are, right?
What?
I used to make some of them.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Well, I mean, some I made, but, like, a lot of them weren't made by me. Like, I don't know. I don't think the ones I made are online anymore. Like, I have them on my PC, but, like, I don't believe they're on anywhere on the internet anymore. Like, my George Floyd creepypastas, like, got wiped off the internet, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, but I just love that statement. Man, my George Floyd creepypastas got wiped off the internet. Like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Yo, that's fucking crazy.
I don't know. I mean,
I lost my George Floyd creepypastas.
Yeah, I mean, on VidLii, in 2023, if you're on VidLii in 2023, you're most likely either, like, Hans Landa or, like, Epstein. Either one of the two, or, like, a combination, like, you had to be either racist or, like, a pedophile on VidLii back then.
Yeah, in order to upload content, you have to be the worst person.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when I talk to people about, like, my edgy past, it's not really that surprising if you know I used VidLii in 2023. Like, of course I posted edgy stuff back then. Like, that's not even a question. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's just, it shouldn't be surprising.
Depends on how edgy we went. Did we call people the N-word? Did we call people the N-word? Shouldn't be doing that.
How did you come up with your username?
Oh, how I came up with my username is, once upon a time, I was 12 years old trying to make YouTube videos, and I was trying to be a Minecraft channel, so of course, I used my favorite number and whatever random string of words I can think of in my 12-year-old little brain to think of Crafting Lord 21. And then eventually when I went into high school and realized that Crafting Lord 21 is a stupidly embarrassing name to have as your username, I shortened it down and abbreviated it to just CL21.
Yeah. I assume Crafting Lord was, like, a reference to Minecraft. Like, you were, like, trying to say you were, like, the best at Minecraft or something because of, like, the crafting
yeah, no,
that's
what it was, because, again, I was 12, so, you know, that's what it was. Yeah. Like, your assumption is very much right. That's what it was. And then, you know, eventually when I realized how stupid my goddamn username was, I changed it, and just, like, shorthanded. I shorthanded it as sort of a way to be like, okay, like, if you're already subscribed to this channel, like, you know what my username is. But for the people that are not subscribed, like, it's just a new username. Like, it's just CL21. So, you know, thankfully, it was a good way to sort of, like, keep the same sort of idea, but, like, sort of rebrand it a little bit, where it's not totally, like, baby's first username.
I don't know. A lot of people say my username is kind of retarded. And, I mean, it's kind of is, but, like, I actually don't remember why I made the username SkibidiCoffee. Like, I know the coffee part is just simply because coffee is my favorite drink. But, like, the Skibidi part, I actually don't remember why. I think it's just a random word I picked. Like, basically, SkibidiCoffee was, like, my Roblox username, and then I just decided to pick it as my VidLii username in October 2024. But, like, earlier, I mean, if you're creating Roblox accounts, you don't really care about Roblox accounts, so, like, you just pick a random username you decide out of thin air because you just want to play games. You don't care about the username.
Yeah, you don't really think about it that much.
I just picked a random name
something.
For Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just picked a random name for Roblox with my favorite drink in it, and then I just randomly decided a few months later for creating my new VidLii account after deleting my old one to just have that same username, just randomly decided. I am thinking, like, I do remember that time when NFKRZ literally mentioned you in a video and said how he didn't like your content because it was modern YouTube on VidLii and he wanted actual old school.
It was too much. Yeah, it was too much modern YouTube. You know, that was a fun moment. You know, that was just because, you know, the whole vibe of the video, like, was that it was just all, like, in good, like, well-meaning, like, fun, like. He wasn't, like, ever, like, taking it that seriously or being that serious about it. So it was just cool just to be in the video at all, just to, like, get even, like, the slightest mention. And that was just a really crazy boom period for the site where it felt like there was all of a sudden this whole new audience. Like, I mean, for a long time, my video on No Fuckers was like my most viewed video ever. It had like fucking 5,000 views or something like that. It did incredible.
Yeah, I really wish I joined VidLii in like 2019, because if I joined VidLii in 2019, I would have like way more subscribers now, probably, just with time and stuff. But like, the thing is, like, the type of content I uploaded on YouTube when I was like 10 in 2019 and in 2020, it's like actual retarded shit. Like, even today, I wouldn't want to watch the shit I made back then. Like,
oh yeah,
the stuff I made when I was like 10 or 11 back then is just not good.
Yeah.
Compared to the stuff now. Like, I would be embarrassed by my channel if I made a VidLii account in 2019.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, it's so hard to like go back and watch some of my older videos, but you know, it's a part of the channel history. So you know, I always, you know, I like that they're up there and that I have them all.
Yeah. Have you talked to NFKRZ personally, like, in like,
oh no,
like actually talked to him in like DMs or something?
Oh. No, I never talked to No Fuckers, like, because you know, like, I just imagined it would be just like, it'd be annoying for him to come on the site and be like, hey, like, you know, hey, like, No Fuckers, like, please, like, shout me out, you know, in your next video, like, you know, it's just some annoying shit, you know, and I, like, he just does his own thing, you know, like, we all do our own thing, and so it's like, I didn't ever find a major reason to want to, like, DM No Fuckers, because I knew immediately, like, when he made his one video on VidLii, it was like, okay, he did that for the YouTube video, he did the YouTube video, he's not gonna use this site anymore, so, like, you know, like, I knew like, what it was.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago watching a video, like a commentary video on VidLii from, like, 2017, of, like, people talking about how NFKRZ ruined VidLii by having a flood of new users, breaking the site's servers or something. Like, I remember a lot of people back in 2017 hating him.
And I honestly, I mean, I thought a lot of that criticism was really overwrought, because it's like, listen, when in my personal opinion, if you're Jan and you see No Fuckers made a video about it, and that video is getting like 50,000 views on YouTube, maybe for that month, even if you just wanted that 1 month and no other months after, like, maybe for that month buy a little bit more server space so that the site can actually handle it. You know, that was never No Fuckers' fault for making a video about the site, because, you know, like, it's not necessarily his responsibility that his fans decide, yo, that looked pretty cool, let me make an account and check it out. That's really not his problem.
Yeah. I think most people learned about VidLii from NFKRZ. Like, even if they came way after 2017, they still first heard about it from his video. Like, his videos, like, has been the single greatest advertisement in VidLii history.
Oh, like, without a doubt.
Like, his video the single greatest marketing for the site out of any other thing.
Yeah, his video did a lot for the site, for sure. We really grew a lot around that time.
Yeah. I don't really watch NFKRZ that much anymore. Like, I sometimes come back, like, once every 6 months or something to watch his videos, but, like, most of his content now is just talking about how it's so hard to, like, get a visa in the EU after escaping Russia because of Ukraine war. Like, talking about how hard it is to, like, actually, like, get residency in, like, these different countries and fully escape Russia.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because it ties into
really
the point that we were
that much content anymore.
Yeah, and it's funny because it ties into the point that we were talking about earlier, where it's like, you know, because I didn't really ever watch him regularly anyway, but I did kind of fall off, like, after that became his main type of content. But, you know, it wasn't for me, but I appreciate the fact that he is making those videos, because it's very important that, you know, someone from Russia, you know, like, that actually escaped Russia once the whole thing started, is, you know, making videos about it, bringing light to, like, hey, like, not only is this the politics that's going on here, like, this is what life is like, trying to escape, trying to get, like, in a visa and, you know, like, go to Europe and, like, kind of just escape Russia and what they're doing. Like, I think it was very important that he made those videos, and you know, I definitely appreciate that they're there. Even if it wasn't my content, I appreciate that he made them, and that he found his audience that does want, like, that type of content and want more of it.
Yeah, I remember watching him a lot in 2020. Like, that was like one of the main NFKRZ and like some like history channels I watched, or like some of the things I watched a lot of in 2020. Like I would watch every video he made back in 2020.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped watching NFKRZ now, just simply because he became... he still has original content, but, like, he became one of those, like, leftist channels. I don't know how to explain. It's, like, leftist channels. Basically, after Trump got elected, he and Gatsu just kept making videos talking about how bad America was after years of glazing them. After years of glazing them, as soon as Trump got elected, they started, like, becoming, like... They started, like, kind of becoming, like, communist. Not necessarily communist, but, like, kind of in that realm of video making. After Trump got elected in 2025, they just switched their political views completely. And I was just like... It's just, like... It was just, like, leftist brain rot now. Like, they were leftists before, but it's, like, now actual leftist brain rot.
I don't know. I didn't catch any of it, but...
I don't like Trump either, like... Bad, but, like, not for the reason leftists don't like him. Like, Trump is bad personally just because he didn't do any of his promises of, like, keeping America out of war, and, like, he also, like, imposed a bunch of tariffs and stuff, and also, like, the fact that is, like most U.S. presidents, he supports Israel, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but, like,
it's kind of like...
That's the main reason I don't like him, is that just that he lied, and, like... He believes in tariffs, but, like, I'm sure you should know about tariffs since you, like, are doing truck driving, importing stuff. You should know about it a lot, like... But,
that
like,
was a very interesting time.
Saying Trump is, like, a Nazi or a fascist.
Yeah, the tariff era was a very...
Like, leftists hate Trump for that different reason.
Yeah, like, it was a very... That was funny, like, to your point, that was definitely one thing that was very... like interesting, because like Phoenix and Vegas, they were fine, but it was California like that mainly got hit really hard. Like there were many points where I'd just get stuck in California for a day like or so because I made my delivery, but they just couldn't find another pickup. Stuff was not coming in, you know. So like that was a very trying era for sure, and I'm glad it's at least past that now, to the point where it's like the actual influx of stuff coming into California is back to normal. So that was a very interesting era when they first got introduced, for sure.
I don't know. To be honest, ever since I've first learned about what the word tariff means, I've been always against it since I first heard about it. Like, things like tariffs, one, it only actually taxes the country importing, not the country exporting. So, like, you aren't even actually punishing China, and, like, it only hurts you since some countries are better at making stuff than other countries. Like, for example, like, Germany is better at making cars than, like, Brazil is at making cars, but Brazil is better at farming coffee than Germany is. So it makes sense for Germany to produce all the cars, but Brazil to produce all the coffee, and just trade. Like, trading... It makes fundamental sense why the world works like that, and it's just, you can't just make everything in one country. It's just not possible.
Like, that was, like, listen, I'd like more manufacturing and stuff to come to America too, but, we do rely on China for a lot, and I think Vietnam is kind of starting to become the new China in terms of, like, manufacturing stuff, because they kind of bent to Trump's will, and China was not willing to, which is kind of why he imposed that super massive large tariff, because China did not want to play ball. But, it makes sense in the way of, like, a lot of these other countries do charge us a little bit to import, so, like, it does make sense to charge a little bit back, but it was kind of crazy when he was like, I'm gonna, like, raising the tariff to, like, 95% was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I get why tariffs are there, mainly just because, like, if other countries want to tariff us, like, it's only fair that we get a little bit back, but that was just not exactly, like, I think the brightest way of going about it. Like, if you wanted to go about it that way, like, I think maybe a little bit more appreciated, instead of just massively being like, hey, in a week, if you don't bend your will, like, we're gonna impose the tariffs. And then obviously China did not bend, like, to the will, so they imposed the tariffs, and so it just gave no time to actually like, you know, kind of move manufacturing around or figure stuff out, which I think we did now. Like, but you know, I say that, but prices are still, you know, what they are, and you know, it is what it is. But it at least seems like shit is moving. At least it's not like not moving anymore like it was. But you know, I just want prices to go down. God damn it.
That's the thing about Trump, is that like he took advantage of the fact Biden wasn't doing much, and like he took advantage of the fact Biden wasn't doing much and Harris was just really cringe and kept talking about how I grew up in a middle class family, and like he just took advantage of that and then made a bunch of promises and then just didn't follow for any of them except for the bad ones like tariffs. But like, dude, he promised America would have no war anymore, or like prices would go down, and that just simply didn't happen.
That's not happened yet. But no, like, what I will say, just like to kind of like, you know, transition out a little bit, just like one of the best moments ever. Like, I absolutely loved the debate era of Trump and Kamala just because of the amount of just goldmine comedy moments. I still rent-free, like, I will be honest with you, dude, still, like, rent-free as an audio in my head. Like, I have these certain audio loops that will just, like, play in my head on occasion, and one that always pops up is, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the animals. It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Oh, that was one of the golden moments. And then, like, I don't know, man. It was a weird era. It was weird. It was fucking weird having Kamala Harris on Wired and having fucking Trump on the Logan Paul podcast. Like, what are we doing?
Wait, what? Logan Paul?
Bro, he was on Logan Paul's podcast.
Logan Paul's like...
He was on Logan Paul's podcast.
Really?
He was on, yeah, it was either Logan Paul or Jake Paul's podcast.
I don't think anyone
one of the
gives
Paul
a fuck
brothers
about Logan Paul
he
anymore.
was on there. And I'm like, really? We got Trump on the fucking Paul, like, Logan Paul podcast? What are we doing?
I don't know. Things like, I am too young to say this directly, to say truly, well, from an informed perspective, but like, it's kind of sounds crazy, but like, Obama had a lot of problems, but the thing is, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I remember when Obama was president, it felt like people were actually proud to be American back then. Like, nowadays everyone's just like arguing about politics or saying why like America is bad, but like, or like people making fun of Americans. But like, when Obama was president, it felt like people actually felt proud to be in America and stuff. Even though he did a bunch of problems himself, it's like he still united people more than Trump or Biden ever did.
Yeah, no, like, he, for sure, you know, like you said, even though he did have, like, some of his problems, he felt like the last normal president, you know what I mean? Every presidential race and every president we've had since then, there's just been these weird moments. They've been, like, 20 gazillion years old. You know, it's just been just, like, more powered by memes and discourse and arguments on Twitter than, like, actually seeing what point does one bring to the table versus the other one. That has not felt that way since 2012 in the fucking, like, Mitt Romney versus Obama. Oh my god, I accidentally said Obama. Mitt Romney versus Obama era. Like, that was the last time it really felt like we had a normal election and, like, a normal presidency. And then we got Obama and, like, you know, all of the other crazy things that happened with, you know, Trump and Biden and fucking Pokemon Go to the polls. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Like, it was just... Obama era definitely felt like the last normal presidency, and I wish we could get back to it. But, you know...
Yeah.
It's 2025. Apparently that's too much to ask.
This is like... I will say, though, I hate George Bush way more than Trump. Like, George Bush, I think, is, like, actually, like, more evil because of, like, the Iraq War and all that. Like, I don't think he has anything in him. Like, he just cares about... It's not like he cares about money. It's like, he just cares about helping Netanyahu, basically, with his missions. Like, he's like, George Bush is, like... He's pretty much like Adolf Hitler or Stalin to me. Like, he, like, started all these, like, random wars that, like, not only killed locals, but, like, killed American soldiers, too. for like literally no reason at all, and like he like got rid of a bunch of, and he like started like having these invasive privacy stuff on the internet for the government, and like had TSA through airports using the excuse of 9/11. Like George Bush, it's like I feel he's actually evil. Like Trump is bad, but like George Bush is like, I feel he's like probably like one of the worst people to ever live. Like George Bush is like literally everything it seems he did was just bad, and like we're still having the consequences of his actions 20 years later.
Yeah, having been raised in the Bush era, like I do not think he was the most evil person ever in the whole world, but he was definitely not a perfect president at all. And like you said, there's a lot of things that he did in the Middle East and kind of like around the world that we are still dealing with the consequences of today. I don't think he was pure evil, but I think he was just heavily misguided and just made a ton of dumb decisions. And you say not for money, but like, what was the whole reason that we were even in the Middle East in the first place? If you think it was the war against terror, it was the fact that if it was the war on terror, it just so conveniently happened to be happening on land that had a bunch of oil that we just kind of took advantage of a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the oil money is kind of true, but the main reason why the Iraq War happened was that basically Israel is scared of Muslim countries becoming rich and powerful that they can't control. Like, they're scared of a bunch of people who hate them becoming super rich and powerful. So, like, whenever, like, a country becomes powerful and rich, they get scared and say, oh shit, we need to get America to bomb them so they can't destroy us. So, like, Netanyahu, like, thought Iraq needed to be invaded like in the 90s before the Iraq War happened and all that. Like, so basically he just got George Bush to invade Iraq. The natural resources were part of it too. Like the Iraq, Saddam Hussein was like really powerful, like, and like Iraq was like a pretty rich country under Saddam Hussein, and like he didn't like Israel. So like Israel just said, oh shit, we're about to be fucked if he's allowed to continue and like become a first world country basically. And, like, get a modern military, so they just got George Bush to help them and, like, use natural resources a little bit, too, and, like, use the excuse of 9/11. But, like, Israel is, like, the main reason for a lot of these Middle East wars, not just natural resources.
Israel definitely, like, has their hands in it quite a lot. But, that is not to say that there were not... What I will say is, and I know this firsthand because my dad was there. He was so all throughout when I was a kid, throughout the 2000s, he was a civilian contractor. Actually, he was in the military in the late 80s, late 80s, and kind of through the 90s. But he was not in the military like in the 2000s. But he was doing civilian contracting, all across Afghanistan, Baghdad, Kuwait, Kosovo, like around the time that all of that was going on. And there were definitely terrorists. Like there was definitely a lot of bad people over there. There were like actual legitimate, like, I think things that our military did around that time. Because I remember one of the contracts that my dad had and that he's told me about was he had a contract for a maximum security prison in Afghanistan that some of the people in there, they were legitimately like on FBI's like most wanted terrorists. Like they were actual legit terrorists, and he's just walking through. My dad's just walking through the prison halls with these terrorists, and like actually some of the worst people. Like regardless of like whose side they were on and what side you were on in the war, like that they were they were part of the Taliban, and they were like actually like they were the ones that actually did want blood in America. But I'm not about to get into Bush politics, but that is just to say that it's not all Israel. There were some other, there were actual legitimate bad actors in there too, and legitimate terrorism, but, not about to get into Bush era politics.
Yeah. I don't know much about the Taliban specifically, but I know ISIS specifically, they started in 2006, conveniently after the Iraq War in 2003, and only, when Saddam Hussein lost power. It's just, suddenly so convenient that after Saddam Hussein, with his big army and government, got destroyed, suddenly there was this power vacuum and these terrorists came along. I'm just saying, if Saddam Hussein was still in power to this day, ISIS simply wouldn't exist because his military would have crushed them when they started in Iraq in 2006 if he was still in power. And like with Gaddafi too, in Libya, he actually hated ISIS, but like conveniently after he was killed in 2011, conveniently there started to be all these like famous execution videos by ISIS out of Libya after he got killed. Like Gaddafi, like Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein, if they were still in power to this day, ISIS either wouldn't exist or like they would be way less powerful. Like America just killed all the big governments that in the Middle East that would have stopped ISIS if they tried to conquer them. But like, I don't know, it's just like America just tried to stop all the people in the Middle East that hated ISIS and would have killed them, and replace them with puppet governments that had weak militaries that couldn't destroy them.
Yeah, there was a lot. I won't get into it here, but there was a lot of nuances, like, in the 2000s of it. You know, there were a lot, because, like, you know, kind of after Hussein had kind of, like, lost power a little bit. I mean, my dad has plenty of stories about how, you know, it kind of slowly transitioned from, like, you know, from Taliban to ISIS, like, how it moved in that way, and, you know, stories of how he bunkered up in Saddam Hussein's mansion. That's kind of, like, you know, there's just stories that my dad has that I will not share here and that I probably should not share. But I can tell you there is a lot more nuance than you would ever imagine in Iraq and in kind of the Middle East in the 2000s. And it's so crazy to like hear it from my dad firsthand, who, you know, he was in those military bases. He was in Saddam Hussein's mansion. He was seeing all this shit firsthand, you know. He was seeing all of it firsthand. There's a lot of nuance.
I just know that, like, all I know is about ISIS that they only start to appear when weak governments in the Middle East form. But, like, those weak governments started because America replaced the old strong ones. Like, the old strong one governments in the Middle East would crush ISIS, but, like, America just replaces them, and then suddenly ISIS started to appear as a power vacuum, and no one could stop them suddenly. Like, they only appear when weak and power vacuums start in countries. They don't start when a country's already rich and powerful with a strong military.
Yeah. Do we have any other VidLii questions?
Oh, sorry, we kept talking about politics.
Yeah.
Who is the better owner? Yan or Lowa or Aniki?
I think as of right now, definitely Aniki. Like, it's because it's kind of hard to say, because, like, I'm not even counting Lawwut, because Lawwut bought it and then proceeded to do fucking nothing, and then his, like, developer buddy was a pedophile. So I don't even count that era. Like, he's not anywhere, he's all the way at the bottom. But, you know, Jan was really cool, and he really, you know, what I would say is, like, the thing was, he kind of had, like, already a preset sort of like base script that he could pull from VidBit and just sort of implement that a lot into VidLii. And I think that when he was really into, you know, when he was really passionate about the project, he was really active in building on that and sort of like expanding the site and like adding changes that people wanted. But then once he lost interest, he just kind of like, all he'd do is bug fixes. There was nothing really new added. And right now with Aniki, not only does it feel like he's doing a lot better on the bug fix side and you know, being really active with the community, he's putting on events, he's adding, you know, him and his developers, like, they want to add changes, they want to like add new things to VidLii and like start to make it active again. And that's something that, you know, even though it was really cool to experience with Jan, that we haven't experienced it in years. Like, this is the first competition we've had in at least a couple years, this Christmas competition going on. So, you know, it's cool to finally see some real activity happening again. And so right now, I think Aniki is doing an incredible job.
About like the competitions on VidLii, like, I really like that they have the community competitions too, not just the official ones. Like, well, I mean, they don't have it right now, but like, they're planning on releasing it soon. But like, the community contest, it's like, the official ones, there will be a lot of people submitting to it, so like, the chances of winning it are mathematically very low. Like, but you can just join a smaller contest and win some small reward or something. And like, you have a very high chance of winning if only like 2 other people join the contest from a community contest. So like community contests allow us more customizability and like higher chances of winning. But I am thinking, I talked to Shingo some time ago, like weeks or months ago, and like he said Aniki basically brought VidLii back to how it was with Yan. Like it basically just reversed time, culturally speaking, to before 2022.
Yeah, I would say that's an accurate description.
Reversed as if what never happened.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate description.
There are new people that didn't exist back then, like me.
Yeah, like, obviously the community is different now, but when it comes to the actual, like, site itself, definitely, like, it does feel like it did when Jan was at his most active with it. Because really what happened with LOL, it wasn't even a case of just, like, neglect. It was neglect to the point of, like, when things would break on the site, he would just leave them. He wouldn't fix them. So you'd have these, like, elements that didn't work anymore as technology and as web pages evolved that just never got fixed. So I think more than just seeing the activity ramp up again, I think it's that those things that have been neglected actually have been fixed now. So, like, the site works like it was developed to work back in, 2018, 2019 when Jan was still active. But it's like now it feels like now that we finally have the site back to fully operational, now we can actually start to build on that again.
I will say though, this is kind of funny related to the thing of like VidLii, even just a technological standpoint being better. No, the funny thing is that there was many Leavids, but like there was one Leavid created like a few weeks ago that ended in like 2 weeks or something, and that Leavid, the interesting thing about that is that like they used the 2022 source code of VidLii, and that meant there was tons of people hacking the site and all that. Like they used, like, just using the 2022 code of VidLii, there was tons of easy ways to hack the site and like take the site down, or like basically get everyone's passwords and IP addresses who used it.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
VidLii now, they fixed all those bugs. Like, VidLii's code in 2022 is just actual ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say coding was never... Jan could build up a good site, but, once you actually dug into the code, I've heard more than a few people be like, yo, Jan's code is ass, and I'm like, I don't code, so I am inclined to believe you. So that's good that the code is like the base code itself is actually better than it was. Don't worry, you're good. I'm just I'm letting you kind of lead, because I know that the upload limit is like an hour, so and we've already gone for like 2.
Well,
so just
yeah. By the way, do you remember like Shingo or something back in the day on VidLii? Like his old name was Termer. Like
I collaborated with Termer a lot. Him? Yeah, like I collaborated with him quite a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, like because he was like, what I will say, because I forget if he ever like had any commentary bits in my videos, but I definitely know he was definitely like a lot of the brains behind like some of the rants that we do, like whenever like me and like a group would like research a person and like kind of make sure we had all the facts straight of like weird shit they were doing. Like Termer would always help out a lot with that, but he also was mainly like kind of a developer. Like he's one of the ones that I kind of talk about where it was like he kind of helped out with a lot of the alt site projects like VidBit Future, and like I'm pretty sure he was on the vanilla team. So he kind of helped out with a lot of those projects. So I know him.
I know Shingo talked about how he like was briefly hired by Lowa to like fix the site's code in like 2022.
Yeah, he was.
Talked about how ass the code was back then.
Yep. He was like, "Yo, this code is ass." And
so like Shingo's like a very smart man, I'll say. Like,
oh yeah.
But like Shingo like knows how to code. He like knows fluent Chinese, and he even knows a little bit of Japanese. Like, I actually remember, like, in VC once, he actually has surprisingly good Japanese, I'll say, talking to him and stuff. Well, I mean, I know a little bit of Japanese, but, like, yeah. I wouldn't say he's fluent, but, like, his reading ability, because he knows Chinese characters, is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that Shingo knew Japanese. Or at least, like, knew a little bit. It's just so strange talking to you. I know I said this before, but, like, talking to you because of how you're basically in a time capsule of old VidLii, it feels like as if I was Joe Rogan interviewing, like, Napoleon or Abraham Lincoln or something like that. Like, it just feels strange since you're from a completely different time period of VidLii.
Yeah, it is kind of like... It's funny coming back into it, like... Because I don't know, like, as, of course, life has happened and I'm not, like, as much online as I used to be. I still try and keep up with stuff online, but, man, like, what made me really feel old this year, and I'm, like, I turned 25 in 4 days, so it's not like I'm old or anything, but it was, what made me feel old was seeing 6-7 start to pop up and me actually having to Google what the fuck that was, because all of a sudden I was just seeing it in, like, a whole bunch of comment sections and seeing people keep saying it, and I was like, what the fuck is 6-7? What is so funny about it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the same with me. Like, even as a 16-year-old, this year in 2025, a lot of modern YT shorts slang I don't actually know, and, like, after research. Like, even as a 16-year-old, I feel old being on the internet in 2025 with all the new slang. Like, 2022 to 2024 slang, like Riz and Skibidi and, like, Sigma and all that. 2022
Sigma
to
was way older than 2024.
Brain rot slang.
Yeah.
It was like actually there was only a few words you had to memorize, but, like, now it's like every month there's a new term and it goes away, so it's like even if you memorize it, it will stop being useful within a month. Like, people just change so fast now compared to the past.
Dude. Fucking Gen Alpha kids, their humor goes on a fucking dime, dude. It's hard to keep up with the internet, and so, like, you know, I kind of feel the same way on VidLii. Anytime I go on there now, it's like there's all these, you know, you mentioned all of those other dramas earlier, and all of these other users that do, you know, have all this shit going on, and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But, you know, it's still, like, I try and keep up, you know, I kind of catch a little glimpse of it, but I mainly just stay in my own little lane. I check my comments and sort of, like, just make what I want to make, which might make it a little bit time capsule-y, that's fine, but, you know, if it's, like, the My Modern stuff will be my music and my weird art projects, and then if I do commentaries, I'm sure it will be, like, a bit of a time capsule, but it's like, hey, it's so fun. Sometimes it's fun to go back and, like, do things the old way.
But the thing is, like, people still care about you after all this time. Like, you're kind of, like, people... I'm just telling you what I and other people think, but, like, you're kind of like the old grandpa everyone respects of VidLii. Like...
Yeah, and that's like, the crazy part to me.
Like, it's rare to see you nowadays, but, like, every time people see you, people want to, like, take pictures with you and all that. Like, that's basically how a lot of people feel. It's just that you're the old grandpa everyone respects.
Yeah, and that's, like, so, you know, it's really, really cool to me, and, like, still so crazy that, you know, just so many people, like, still care about the channel, and, like, still, I guess that I have this weird, like, respect of just being, like, the biggest channel, and I guess the old guard, and it's, like, it's weird, because, you know, I had been inactive for so long, a lot of it feels like it just kind of passively happened to me, but I appreciate it a lot, you know, because it's more just, like, all of the work that I put in before, like, I guess it made it to where you could totally watch, like, my videos from 3 years ago, like, some of my latest uploads from, like, 3 years ago, and they still, like, hold up, and it's almost now, like, this time capsule of like, new users that come on to VidLii and want to sort of, like, get up to speed about the history of the site and what has happened, they can literally just go back through my videos of all the coverage of what was happening at that time, because it kind of has that sort of time capsule effect now.
I think, like, you're one of the only... Well, not necessarily only, but, like... I think I remember seeing you mentioned in the Encyclopedia Dramatica article on VidLii. You know what that is, right?
Yeah. I totally forgot I was in Encyclopedia Dramatica.
I really do wish Encyclopedia Dramatica updates their VidLii page. Like, there's so much stuff you can talk about, but like, that article is just a time capsule for 2018 VidLii. Like, but like, imagine if they talked about like My Genuine Sneed or like the VidLii Wars, but Armando talked about me. There's like so much interesting stuff that happened after 2018, 2019, but the Encyclopedia Dramatica page is just stuck in time, not updating for like the new users and drama. But like, there's just so much gold they forgot to talk about since they're stuck in the past. Thinking, do you know Voodoo on VidLii? Because Voodoo, he's kind of in the same sort of stuff as you, like art and music.
Actually, have I seen Voodoo?
All I know is like Shy Studios hates him. Like, there's times where like Shy Studios commented on his channel that he was like a poop sex heifer or some shit.
What?
Because Voodoo has like a trans girlfriend or something. Shy Studios just kept making like jokes about him having poop sex.
Oh.
Yeah. But the thing about Voodoo is that a lot of his content gets deleted. Like when he talks about drama and all that, he like deletes it after a few days because he just wants his channel to have his like art stuff and all that. So like there's a lot of content he uploaded over the years that just not on his channel anymore. I think Shingo is the same way. He talks about a lot of videos he used to make that he deleted within a day or something because he doesn't want his channel to just become drama.
Yeah, he definitely deleted a lot of his old content, for sure. Like, he used to have way more content. But, you know, I get it. Like, I definitely get it when you, like, rebrand your channel and are, like, doing a new thing and you just, like, what you used to make and what you used to do doesn't necessarily fit with what you're making anymore. I get where they're coming from with it. Like, I just mainly, like... Because I kind of did the same thing. Like, I privated a lot of my, like, oldest gaming videos from when I was, like, you know, like 11 or so. But I kept up, like, the not embarrassing ones. Like, it's important to recognize your history while, you know, maybe privating the really cringe ones.
Well, I mean, I, like, deleted a few videos on my channel, a few videos too, and, like, there's also a video where, like, I was responding to someone accusing me of being a pedophile, and I was, like, bringing evidence as why I'm not, like, the fact that I used to, like, be hated on VidLii for hating on Lolly. The fact is, basically the video I was saying, I used to get hated on so much for talking shit about Lolly, so, like, how is it possible for me to be a pedophile if I went through struggle and harassment just to say Lolly was bad? I just privated that video because, like, it was just responding to some retard, and that retard got banned off VidLii anyway, so, like, there wasn't any reason to have that on my channel. I mean, it's unlisted, so, like, people with the video link can still see it. No one new on my page can see it. Yeah. By the way, have you ever gotten anything, like, allegations against you? Because I've gotten a lot of false allegations over some time. Like, people have accused me of doxing, people have accused me of, like, pedophilia and all that. Like, I've been accused of so much stuff by retarded people over the years.
Thankfully, I have not been accused of anything. Like, you know, the only real, like, I would say, the only real drama that I found myself in was, what was when I made the J Reviews rant. Still one of the worst videos I've ever made was the J Reviews rant, and I think I actually deleted that video, but I had, like, I had
fuck is J Reviews?
So J Reviews, so the thing was, they review, you know, they would do rants and commentaries and stuff, and, like, these, you know, as the title would suggest, reviews of media and stuff. But, like, it was just a really misguided thing. Like, I unfortunately started pulling, you know, too much from, like, the Leafy Bank, where it was, like, I just mainly, like, I made a rant video on him, and then I had featured Travis and I think Red Exec, but really, there was no point in even including them in the video because they just made the same points that I made, and all of our points was basically, oh, Jay Reviews is annoying and he has horrible takes. And then the thing was, it turned out that Jay Reviews is actually like 13, and it makes sense why he has terrible takes because he's 13. So now it looked like me as a 17, 18-year-old was basically picking on like a kid. And it was just bad. It was just a bad video overall, and it was just like a really misguided concept. And so I did have rant videos made on me and a real controversy on me because of that. But that was justified because that was me being stupid. Like, that was me being really dumb.
Yeah.
So,
it is interesting to see
that was my controversy.
It is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting to see how Reddit sect hasn't changed their ways over the years. Like, I don't want to talk too much about them, but, like, they do the same it seems like they've been doing the same shit of just trolling random kids they see for, like, decades at this point, basically.
Yeah.
Like, they just do the same thing over and over again.
I'm just not online enough for that kind of thing anymore, because, like, I know there's a bunch of dramas happening, but I'm not even online enough to even, like, bother making videos about them anymore, because I just can't get that invested in stupid drama like that anymore. Like, I'm literally moving states here in a couple weeks, and, like, I've been living on my own for like a year and a half. I have a career. I have friends I like to go out and party with. Like, there's just too much for me to be focused on kind of this petty, like, drama crap that I used to focus on when I was still a touchless, kissless virgin in high school, you know?
Yeah. By the way, the point earlier about J Reviewers being a kid or something, like, when I was 13, I was actually stupid.
Well, yeah, like most 13-year-olds are dumb.
Yeah. This is like, every few years I just realize how I was stupid in the past. Like, when I was 13, I was a communist back then. And, tried to argue with people on Discord about it.
Oh my god.
And, like,
yeah.
No, when I was, like, 14, I was, like, super edgy and, like, just trying to be offensive.
See, I was the opposite. When I was 14, I was just super fucking lame. Mainly because I was homeschooled. So, like, I was really lame. Like, thankfully, I'm not as lame anymore. Yeah. I'm still kind of lame, but not as lame.
Pretty sure most people when they're teenagers, they either have a libertarian phase, or a Nazi phase, or a communist phase. Well, I mean, if they're chronically online teenagers. They,
if you're chronically online, then you're gonna have
political ideologies.
God, thank God my parents, like, made me not be chronically online. They were like, alright, you gotta actually go out and, like, do some activities in the real world. And thank God I actually got to touch grass as a teen. Like, I was still way chronically online, but at least I wasn't, like, in my liberal era, or Nazi era, or, like, communist era. Thankfully I did not have any era like that. Like, thankfully I kept my politics to, like, pretty, like, equal and in the middle, where it was like, alright, I can actually look at politics and be like, what is going on? I'll look at all of it skeptically. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, I would say a lot of the teenagers that aren't chronically online into politics, the ones that aren't chronically online into politics, they usually just get into drugs or something, or, like, get into vaping, I feel.
Yeah, and I
did
smoke a lot of weed for a little bit, but I'm off of it now.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, the people who are chronically online get into extreme ideologies, and the people who aren't chronically online as teenagers just get into drugs or something like that.
Yeah, that's about how it goes. But, yeah. Any other questions for me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just thinking, like, you said how you were getting into weed as a teenager in the 2010s. I was just thinking, like, I heard a lot about how, like, in the 2010s, it was, like, normal for K2 or a spice to exist, like, synthetic weed that was, like, legal or something. And it was, like, super dangerous, but it was marketed as a weed alternative back then.
See, I never got into any of that shit. And funny enough, I didn't even ever experiment with like, weed or even alcohol as a teen. Like, I was totally basic. Like, I was fully, like, fully squeaky clean until, like, I was of age to actually, like, I think maybe I like, was more, like, drinking and doing stuff at, like, maybe, like, 19 or 20. But I didn't smoke weed until I was, like, probably 22. And then, I had my weed era where like, that was the first time I smoked weed, was, like, 21 or 22. But you know, I really liked it for a time. You know, that was really mainly what I got into. But then, you know, obviously I got into trucking, and you cannot smoke weed when you're a trucker, so that's when I quit weed, and I have not I have not smoked since. So, you know,
well, I mean, like, you could still probably do it in your, like, your break times or something.
Well, no, because you get random drug tests. You get random drug tests, so it's like you can't be playing around with you can't be playing around with too, because I have not had one like ever since I started trucking school. But it's always just that lingering thought of like they could random at any time if they wanted to. So let me not play around with that shit. So, you know, I haven't smoked weed since I started doing trucking, and you know, and I appreciate that, because it was like, you know, weed was always one of those things, and really, because, like, I never smoked cigarettes or anything anyway. Like, I've smoked a few cigarettes, but I never got how people, like, got hooked on it. I never got hooked on it. And it was the same with weed. It was like, even though I really liked weed, it was very easy for me to put it down once I was like, okay, I need to go into trucking school, and I need to pass a drug test. Okay, I'll put down the weed. And then, like, I just didn't pick it back up. It was like, I never had a problem, like, trying to get off it. I just fucking simply stopped, because there's other stuff more important than doing drugs. And one of those things is being into this dream career that I really wanted to do. So
well, the thing about weed, I'm not an expert, since like I haven't actually tried it, but like from the research I've done, it's like the thing about weed is that like a lot of people have this idea it's like completely safe just simply because there isn't much physical effect. Like, yes, it is true that you aren't going to die from smoking it, but like.
Yeah, anything that you bring into your lungs, like, besides air, obviously is going to be not exactly like the best for you, but it's definitely like better than tobacco and stuff. But, you know, I'm not gonna say any type of thing that you smoke is good for you, because you should just be breathing air into your lungs and not anything else.
What I was gonna say is that weed, it's like, it is safer than alcohol just on a physical level, but the problem with weed is just simply that it makes people lazy. That's my main thing about it. Like, and also just the culture around it is super toxic.
And I mean, depends who you are. Like, weed was fun for me just because I was around just like chill stoners. So like, you know, I'm around other music people. Like, I'm a musician around other music people. I'm just around like chill stoner types, and like. The thing was, I smoked, but I would never, like, get lazy, and I think it was more just because, like, weed, even when I did smoke, like, weed was only just kind of, like, a weekend thing that I do. Like, if I was just out with people on the weekend, I'd just, like, smoke it when I'm hanging out with people, but I wouldn't, like, smoke just, like, on my own and laze around doing nothing, and I wouldn't smoke, like, during the work week or whatever. Like, I still had shit to do. I think it was, again, that part of just, like, it was easy for me to put down, and I never was that hooked on it, you know, just because it was, like, you know, there's just more important shit going on. Like, I treated smoking weed just as someone would, like, maybe having a drink on the weekend with some buds. And then, obviously, once I got into trucking, and you can't do that. That was easy for me just to put down and never pick back up.
Stuff, it's like, even on your off times, you can't really enjoy yourself at home or, like, with family. I was just thinking, like, do they get, like, actual time off in the sense of, like, a few weeks or like a month off or something, like a sense of like basically like summer vacation for school?
Like never that, like with my company specifically, like never that long. But I have gotten. I mean, you still get plenty of time off. You know, like I said, I'm home every couple days, so I get to, you know, do that stuff. And then what happens is you work with a 70-hour work clock. So from the moment you kind of start your work week, that clock rolls down, and it can roll over, like if you work over 8 days, but for the most part, like in a week, if you're like running a good amount of miles, you should use up your 70-hour clock. And we have these things called 34-hour resets, where you know, say I depleted my clock down to like I only have 10 hours of work time left on my clock. I'll take a 34-hour reset. It's 34 consecutive hours of off-duty time. So most of the time, it's usually 2 days off for me, like wherever it lands. Like sometimes it'll land in the week, sometimes it'll land on the weekend. But you know, that's a couple days off, and then once the clock resets, then I'm back on it. And they're also really chill with me, like as long as I put in a time request in like a timely manner, and like, you know, don't put it for like tomorrow, like put it for at least a couple weeks in advance. They know I'm one of their top runners, so I basically get whatever time off I want. Like I took basically almost a whole week off in October because the Ren Fair came to town and my best friend came into town. like for Ren Fair, and there was other stuff that I really wanted to catch, so I just decided to take like that week off and just kind of just catch everything and just hang out. And so that's we definitely get time off. Like, it's not as much time off as like a month off or anything like that, but we definitely get a lot of time off.
The thing is, like, what I mean is, like, even if you get like a 1 hour break or something like that, if you're in another city, like, you can't really enjoy the break as much as, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like short, or like the time you're actually at home is like pretty short, I think, or something like that. I mean, so like you can't actually like enjoy hanging out with family or something like that in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, your time at home definitely is like, short, but I'm just really good at like maximizing that time and using it wisely. Like, I get to hang with the people that like I have my. What it did really was it kind of trimmed the fat of a lot of like my friend groups of just like friends that like aren't exactly my closest friends, or like that not my ride or dies, essentially. Like, it made me a lot more prioritized on my family and on my ride or die type of friends, and so it's like I just use my time that I'm here a lot more wisely, and just hang with my closest friends and work on music projects and hang with my family, and just really enjoy my time here while I have it, and just make the most out of it. And I've gone to like plenty of punk shows, and plenty of hangouts and party time. Like, we can definitely, like, on our time off, when the days off are coming and I know I have tomorrow off, like, I'm going out partying and drinking with my buds. Like, of course I'm doing that. Like, of course I'm doing that. So we get plenty of time. Like, it's not a lot of time compared to what a lot of people usually have, but we do get plenty of time. And like, I personally, just try to use that time very wisely, and I still do everything that I would normally do, just a little bit differently than most people.
Interesting. I don't know. You talking about truck driving, it actually doesn't sound as bad as I thought it would be a long time ago. Like,
dude,
not saying I would want to do it, but like, it sounds like a better job than I expected before. Like, I expected to just basically like be like, you would get like 1 hour. You would get like a 1 hour break every week or something like that, because of just constantly driving, and like you can't be in your home or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's chill as hell. It's really, really chill. It's definitely not like that at all. Like, like I mentioned, tonight I got home pretty late tonight, but for example, my delivery tomorrow, it's in St. George, which is only a couple hours away from here, and it's not until 8 p.m. So legitimately, like, I can just sleep in tonight, wake up whenever the hell I want to tomorrow, like, kind of get some errands done and some stuff done tomorrow afternoon, and then I just run up to St. George for a couple hours, make that delivery, grab my next load on the way out, and then park it for the night again, and then I'll stay the night in Vegas, and then that next one that I grabbed, it delivers Wednesday, and it delivers, like, it has a pretty large window, so again, I'll probably go to my parents' place, probably spend the night there, and just sleep in, hang with them in the morning, and then whenever I'm ready to roll, I'll just roll out and deliver it. It's really chill. Like, it's really, really chill. It's like, like I said, it's very different. Do you have to, like,
stay at hotels or anything like that?
No, you just stay in the truck. Like
if you have,
you just stay in the truck, dude. Because my semi, right? Because like I said, it's a big giant 18-wheeler. So my semi, of course, has the 2 seats up front, but then has a tiny little closet where I keep some shirts, some clothes, like underwear, that type of stuff. And then it has a little mini fridge, so I keep water in there, keep some food in there, stuff like that. And Swift has terminals like in, I think, like 30 of the 50 states. They have terminals. That's the company I work for, Swift. And so they have terminals where like they straight up have everything that you need. They have shower rooms, and it's like a full bathroom. Like it's not like trucker showers like you have in like your imagination or whatever. Like, it's a full on just like real bathroom that is like its own just little like private room that you just use as like any other bathroom. And then they have microwaves in there, so you can like make a hot meal and stuff like that, and just kind of hang out in the driver's center. And then like. And then it has, so, like, it has that closet, it has that mini fridge, and it has a bed. Like, it actually has a straight up, like, full-size bed in there. So, you you just leave the engine running so that you can use your AC or your heater. And right now, honestly, in the west, in the west side of the US, it's perfect enough at night where I don't even need any of that. I just leave like I have a little vent window open in the back, so I just leave that vent window open and natural air is enough. And then you just have a full-size bed, mini fridge, closet, drawers. So it's like legitimately there's quite a few people at yeah, like
so it's basically like you just live van life, but you still make money while driving, basically. So it's like van life, but better.
The truck is your home away from home. It's like that's why when I was talking to you about it, I consider it like my little office / home away from home, because it's like I have my laptop in there. I have a little like mini amp and like travel guitar in there, and full size bed, stuff in the mini fridge, clothes in the closet. So it's like that's my home away from home. And there's plenty of people at the company that I can tell you with certainty they just decide to maximize their profits and straight up threw a lot of their main stuff in storage, and they legit live out of the truck. Like there's a lot of over the road guys that just decide to do true proper over the road life. They live out of the truck. They save all that money on rent and apartments and houses and shit just by living out of the truck. And that's a perfectly viable option you can do because these things have the amenities for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking, how is like motion sickness? Because if you're driving all day, I feel like you're going to get motion sick.
I've never had any problems with motion sickness. I know some other people do, but me personally, I've never had any problems with motion sickness. I don't know. I just me
VR,
flying, all that, just fine.
Driven around by, even just being driven around by other people, it's like even after like 1 hour of like driving through a mountainside, having tons of like turns and stuff, I get super like motion sick from that. But I mean, the thing is, like, America, most of the roads where trucks go on are like super straight. Usually you get motion sick if you're driving along the side of a mountain for hours. That's usually when motion sickness happens, not a straight road on an empty plane.
Yeah, and that's the really funny part about the West, because like again, I don't get motion sickness. Like I've never actually really had problems with motion sickness or anything, so it's not something that I deal with. Anyway, but then the really funny thing is, like in the Western U.S., obviously we have like a lot of the terrain on the Western U.S. is just really like lots of mountains, lots of hills, kind of high stuff. So like the drive between Arizona and Vegas, like we go through Lake Mead, we go through like a lot of the mountains up there where it's like there's a lot of these just crazy high like cliff points and like actual bridges that we go over. Like you definitely have a lot of twists and turns there. And then actually on the way to St. George tomorrow, there's a gorge that you got to go through that like winds and twists and does all this cool stuff. And it's like those are the fun roads to me. Like those are the really ones that are like actually like take real focus to like drive through. So it's like those are the ones that I actually have the most fun with, or like winding roads and mountain roads and stuff like that, because they're just like, I don't know, they just have really cool views and they actually like require some focus to drive. So I really love driving canyon roads.
What's the internet like being in the truck, having off time in the truck? Because we tried yesterday to call and like in your truck it was just like the internet for the audio was pretty bad. I'm just thinking like, how is it like to like watch YouTube videos or something?
Well, I mean, it's just like, it's phone data. So it's like, as good as your phone data is what watching YouTube videos is like. Though at the terminals, it's a little bit better because at least the terminals have their own Wi-Fi. Like, it's shared Wi-Fi, so obviously it's still kind of shit Wi-Fi. But it's at least Wi-Fi, so I can set up my laptop in there and kind of, like, get some work done, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could probably just, like, park next to, like, a McDonald's or a Starbucks and use their internet or something. But I don't know if they, allow trucks to go there, like, to, like, a place like McDonald's. Well, that's what I was about to say. Again, you're 75 feet in length, so that kind of restricts the places you can go. Like, if I'm just going bobtail, like, if I don't have a trailer and just go bobtail, like, I can pretty much go anywhere as long as that anywhere is not lower than 13 feet 6 inches, because then, obviously, the roof of the truck will hit. But, like, you could basically go anywhere, but obviously when you have a trailer, that's a 75, it's a 53-foot trailer, 75 feet total for the length of the whole thing, so that just kind of restricts where you can and can't go. So, that's what makes it difficult, is like, yeah, I would love to just park next to a McDonald's and get their Wi-Fi. Shame my truck is 75 feet and you can't pull in there, though. At least without fucking ramming over and destroying everything.
I don't know how it is in America, but, like, in Japan, for, like, trucks and stuff, they don't go to normal gas stations. There's, like, special ones just for
Oh, yeah.
Well, not necessarily just for trucks, but, like, there's a lot of trucks that only go there, and it's, like, a special one that, like, has a bunch of stores and restaurants and, like, all that inside. No, like, it's basically, like, a giant city within a building in, like, the middle of, like, a mountain or something like that, where all the trucks go to refill and, like, take a break.
Yeah, like, obviously, you do have truck stops here, because that is our way to get fuel, is the truck stops, because, like you just said, we can't go to a normal gas station, but, it's not exactly like Japan, where it's these huge, like, cities in a little thing. Like, the only ones that are kind of like that are, like, a Buc-ee's or something, because
I wouldn't say, like, a city, but, like, I wouldn't say, like, a city, but, like, a bunch of, basically, like, in the middle of the mountain, like, middle of the mountains or something, there's just, like, these truck stops or something that's, like, has, like, a bunch of shops next to each other and all that, and, like...
Yeah,
and, like, mostly it's, like, trucks going there, but there is some normal... Yeah, there is normal cars, too, because, like, people obviously drive through the mountains, too.
Yeah, like, we really kind of don't have that here with our truck stops. Our truck stops are essentially, like... I would call them like a gas station plus, because it's not like anything fancy or anything like that, but it's mainly the fact that, like, truck stops, it's basically like a convenience store that you'd see at a gas station, but they also sell, like, GPSs and truck-specific things, too. They have shower rooms, they have bathrooms, and then they might have, like, a Subway or, like, a Chester's Chicken if you're going to, like, a fucking Love's, because they always have Chester's Chicken. Yeah. But, they'll have, like, a couple fast food places and shower rooms and bathrooms, and then other than that, it's kind of just your standard, like, what you'd see in a convenience store, because that's really all we need for trucking. Like, most of the time, they'll have plenty of parking to stay overnight if you need to stay overnight, but most of the time, that's really all you need a truck stop to be. Like, for me, I don't like to sit in one area very long. I like to constantly stay moving, so if I'm stopping at the truck stop, I'm literally stopping there only to get fuel, use the bathroom, refill my water cup, and then go on my way. Like, I do not stay at the truck stop for very long.
Thinking, like, you talk about how you, like, basically have van life in your truck and, like, have your own office. I'm just thinking, if you have your own office, I assume if you already have, like, an office and bedroom in your truck, why not just add a kitchen and a bathroom there too? Like, if you're already going all the way of having a house inside a truck, why not just go all the way with it with, like, an actual kitchen?
Yeah, like, some people do go that fancy with their trucks, but they are these, like, ginormous, like, $270,000, like, custom-built type of trucks. Like, just your regular company truck off the lot, it's just gonna be, it's just gonna be exactly that. Mini fridge, storage, bed. That's pretty much what you got. So, it does have a slot where I could put a microwave in there. For some reason, my stupid ass hasn't yet, but mainly it's mostly because, like, again, the way I run it, I don't like to stay in one place for very long. I like to pick up my stuff and get from one place to the other, like, without stopping as much as I can. Like, and most of the time I do go just straight up nonstop. And so, for me, it just doesn't make sense to get a microwave or put that much stuff in there, because by the time I'm getting hungry or wanting to use the bathroom, I made it to the Swift terminal that has the shower rooms, that has the bathrooms, that has the, microwaves in there. So it's like, really all I need the truck for is just sleeping, pretty much. Like, all of where I go just regionally is close enough to where I can do that. So I just, like, if I was over the road, it would definitely be different. I would definitely, like, want to trick out the inside of my truck a little more, but because I'm regional and most of the time I just go straight point A to point B, there's just no reason for me to.
Yeah. I mean, if you're actually, like, driving from, like, Vegas to, like, Alaska or something, going through Canada and all that.
Yeah, like, if you were going somewhere crazy.
Then having it proper would be... Yeah. Having it proper would be necessary, I think, to, like, not lose your sanity.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, to be fair, I even just experienced it now. Like, that's part of why we're recording this today and not yesterday. I was supposed to be back yesterday, but the whole plan went to shit, and so I ended up staying, like, an extra day and a half longer than I was supposed to in the first place. And even just that extra day and a half, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little stir-crazy. And they could tell on the phone that, like, I was trying not to be disrespectful of them, but I was pissed overall at how it was going. So they made my life easier, which, again, I appreciate my company for that so much.
With being a truck driver, does the company, like, pay for, like, the food and, like, the refills of the gas and all that for you? Or is it, like, you have to pay it yourself with your wage or something like that?
Yeah, we get a fuel card.
Just have you, like, get a credit card or something?
We get a fuel card, like, so, you know, we get a fuel card for gas, pretty much. Like, we get it for gas and for DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. So, you know, that's mainly what that's for. Like, they don't pay for our food or anything, but you know, like, that's fine. That's not, you know, you wouldn't expect them to pay for the food, because most of the time when you're home, you can meal prep and make your own food and stuff like that. That's what I do anyway, is I'll make my own food and just kind of meal prep for the trip for, like, the few days or whatever. So I don't even really need to worry about food like that or getting food out on the way, because I already, you know, make my own food and then bring it with me. So I don't really have to worry about that. So yeah, they give us a fuel card though, so that, you know,
interesting,
like, we're covered for the fill-ups, and then if anything mechanically goes wrong with the truck, they cover that. Like, it's a company truck, they cover it, so don't have to worry about that.
Okay, I understand. That's actually the one thing I like about that sort of thing, like truck driving, working for a company. The thing is like with, like, stuff like being, I forgot the term, but, like, being a freelancer type of that sort of thing, you have to cover your own costs. Like, for example, if you're like an Uber driver, Uber doesn't pay for your gas or anything. But, like, if you actually work for a taxi company, and, like, if you actually work for a proper taxi company, they would pay for that. But, like, Uber doesn't care, and you actually earn less money from Uber anyway than working for a proper taxi company. So it's like Uber is just taxi, but worse for you as a worker, because they don't have to pay you or, like, provide anything for free.
Yeah, no, pretty much. That's yeah, like that. I would not want to do owner op, for sure, just mainly because of that whole thing. But yeah, you got any other questions for me? Because I feel like we are getting close enough to time.
Yeah. There's like two more things I want to say. The first thing is that this isn't really a question, but just some advice I want to share with you, since you're into, like, traveling a lot or, like, commuting a lot because of your job. If you ever decide to go to Japan for a visit, or actually to move, if you ever go to Japan, I highly recommend the fried chicken at convenience stores. Like, the convenience store fried chicken is, like, amazing. Like, the fried chicken at the convenience stores are, like, better than, they're, like, better than fried chicken at, like, fast food places like KFC. Like, they're way better. I mean, you get less food, but, like, well, it's cheaper, but you get less, but, like, they taste, and the texture is, like, way better, I feel, at, like, the convenience stores in Japan, like Family Mart or 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I have definitely heard many good things.
To say is, another thing I wanted to say is that, what are your final words to the people watching this?
To the people watching it, I just really, really appreciate that y'all have continued to watch me and follow my channel over the years, especially the inactive years. That part still just, like, amazes me so much, like, how much the channel grew when I wasn't doing anything. But I appreciate people always checking in and commenting, and I really appreciate the support on the Secrets video. If you haven't checked out Secrets yet, please go check it out. It's my original song. I'm really happy with how the video turned out. And, you know, life is just really good. Things are just really good right now, and you know, I think to anybody watching that is an old head like me, just, thanks for still being here. Like, thanks for still making videos and being a part of the community. And just, I hope everyone is doing what they want to do in life and has ended up where they want to be, because, man, life is very different at 25 than it was at, 15 when I first started being in this community and making these videos. So I'm just grateful to still be a part of it and still get to do stuff like this podcast. So, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on this, because, like, I don't know, I kind of looked up to you for a long time as a VidLii user. Like, you were absent for a long time, but it's like, I talked about earlier about you being like the old grandpa of VidLii everyone respects no matter what. That's how, like, I felt too. So it's like nice actually talking to you instead of you just being like a myth in like the history books like before. It's like feels weird to actually talk to you directly.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it for sure. I guess I'll also add on to that by saying it's like really special that people do look up to my channel and my video making style. But I'm just some dude with a pretty average life that made videos a long time ago and is trying to pick it back up again. It's like there's so much myth that I'm always like so appreciative of, but also so amazed by when it's just like I'm just here. I'm just some dude. Like, I'm really not that different than everybody.
Yeah. I'm gonna end this then. Thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm sorry it's been like 3 hours straight. But
yeah.
I'll definitely edit down the pauses and the stutters. I won't cut out dialogue, but just stutters and pauses and all that. And I'll split into parts for VidLii, but upload the full version to other platforms.
Hell
for people to watch there. Anyway,
Whoopsie daisy. Well, I guess that is the end of the VidLii Podcast episode. What the fuck was this? 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Anyway, this has been CL21 with coffee. I hope everyone enjoyed this very special podcast.